Hi, welcome back guys. This is your sensei, back with another fanfiction. This is the first part of What If Naruto Had a Jinchuriki Sister? Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. Chapter 1 Minato Side. I'm so thankful Hiruzen. Without you, Naomi never would have been born, Naruto and Kara would be orphans, and everyone would know Kara's secret. He remembered that night 7 years ago, like it was yesterday. A masked man had kidnapped his daughter Kara, after Kushina had beard the twins. It took everything Minato had to get Kara back and chase off the masked man. He then began sealing the 9 tails into Kara and Hiruzen interrupted, giving his own soul in exchange for Minato's. Minato stood and looked out over the village, just as Jiraiya walked into the room looking grim. "Kid, we gotta talk?" Minato looked at him confused. "What is it, sensei?" Jiraiya ran a hand through his hair. "I heard a prophecy yesterday from the Great Toad. A child of my apprentice will either save the world or plunge it into darkness. Aided by she with the chains of destiny, they will defeat a grave threat to humanity. It's vague, but I think it's your daughters. With Kara having the 9 tails, it's no doubt she'll be extremely powerful, and Naomi's chakra is almost exactly like Kushina's, so she will end up wielding chains. We must focus on their training." "What of my son, no?" Minato asked. Jiraiya grimaced. "You aren't gonna like this, but I think that we should focus only on your daughters. If they aren't close enough, they could fail. So we have to postpone Naruto's training." Minato narrowed his eyes dangerously. "Are you suggesting we ignore my only son's training?" Jiraiya returned the glare. "Damn it, kid. The fate of the world is more important than his feelings. He may hate you, but at least he will be safe." That night Minato made a decision that would change the course of history forever. "Daddy. Daddy." A small grinning blonde girl ran into the office. "What is it, Kara-chan?" Minato asked, smiling gently. "The mean men keep chasing me." Then 2 Chunin burst into the room breathing heavily. "Oh. Hokage-sama. Your daughter vandalized the school and dashed." He took a deep breath. Kara had led them on quite a chase apparently. Then young Naruto walked through the door. He had blue breathes, black boots, a gray long-sleeve shirt and a beanie with his blonde hair sticking from the sides. He had his hands in his pockets and was smiling. Minato noted that Naomi wasn't in sight, so he assumed she was at home. Naruto sat down on a guest chair in the office, watching the scene unfold. Kara had darker blonde hair than Naruto and looked more like their father. She wore a pair of blue breathes, white boots, and a white shirt with red flames on the arms. "Hey Kara, starting tomorrow your dad and I will be starting your private training," Jiraiya told her. She got excited, along with Naruto. "You're gonna train me?" "That's right, Kara," Jiraiya replied, trying to hint that they wouldn't be training Naruto. "I can't wait till tomorrow," she replied, Naruto nodding in agreement. "Either. Actually, Naruto, we will only be training Kara for now," Jiraiya told the smiling boy. Naruto frowned. "But did I do something wrong?" "No, it's just your sister has a power that's incredibly powerful and dangerous to anyone around. We have to focus on her intently. Please be patient. We'll start your training later," Minato answered for the Toad Sage. Naruto looked disappointed. "Okay, I guess." Chapter 2 Naruto was upset. He'd been denied training yet again, and they'd even started training Naomi. Naruto was in a training ground crying after training himself into the ground. "Hello," a light voice said from in front of him. Looking up, Naruto saw a man with black hair that framed his face, black eyes, umbu clothes, and a sword on his back. Naruto scrambled up to his feet, wiping his tears as he did so. "Itachi." The black-haired man grinned. "You were out here training?" Naruto nodded. "Dad won't teach me anything. He only teaches my sisters." The man nodded sadly. "My father behaves similarly to my younger brother, trying to train me. My name is Itachi Uchiha, by the way." Naruto shook Itachi's outstretched hand. "Naruto Namikaze. How about I train you, Naruto? I could train you and Sasuke-kun at the same time," Itachi asked. Naruto smiled brightly. "You do that? Really, Itachi?" Naruto's smile was infectious as Itachi matched it. "It won't be easy though, you know. I'll train you too till you hate me and then some. I'll promise you'll be way ahead of your classmates though. Naruto nodded. Can we start now? Itachi shrugged. Fine by me, how about a spar so I know where you're at? Naruto smiled and dropped into a sloppy stance that looked similar to the style Hyuga use. Naruto then shot forward. Itachi made mental notes that he should work on his strategy and taijutsu. Naruto went for a punch but Itachi slapped his fist away and flicked his forehead. Naruto recovered and went for a jumping kick, but Itachi grabbed his legs and threw him towards a puddle around 10 foot away. This went on for 2 hours and Naruto showed no sign of stopping, so Itachi stopped him. Enough. You need to work on your taijutsu style instead of mixing styles, you see. You should never rush into a straightforward fight with someone who outclasses you, and finally, you need a weapon. Naruto nodded, taking in the information. Thanks, Itachi-sensei. You're welcome. Be back here every day at 7 in the morning. I'll get you the skills you'll need. Chapter 3, Good to know you're punctual, Naruto-kun. Itachi was on top of a training target beam that Naruto had been sitting beside. Sasuke then ran into the training ground. Big brother, don't start training without me, Sasuke called out. Itachi laughed, and when Sasuke got close enough, Itachi poked his forehead. Meet your new training partner, Sasuke. Sasuke turned to Naruto. Hey, I know you. Your dad's the Hokage. Naruto scratched the back of his head. Yeah, that's me. Nice to meet you, Sasuke. Alright, you two. 50 sprints around the training ground, Itachi told them. 50. Are you nuts? Sasuke exclaimed. 60. Wanna try for more? Thought not. Get going. Itachi was deadly serious now. Training these two was important, he could tell. Training Naruto and Sasuke was incredible. Naruto was excellent with taijutsu and chakra-heavy techniques, while Sasuke was more rounded, being above average in ninjutsu, taijutsu, and genjutsu. Naruto learned 2 wind jutsu and 1 earth jutsu, while Sasuke learned 5 fire jutsu and 2 lightning, though he lacked the chakra to learn really destructive jutsu like Naruto. Naruto had begun hiding his strength from his family. Naruto, why do you hide your full power from everyone? Sasuke asked after Itachi had left on an urgent mission. Naruto smiled sadly. I ask mom and dad for training, I ask my sisters to help, I try just spending time with them. Every time I get shot down and most times they ignore my presence altogether. Once graduation is here, I'll show them that they didn't hold me back by not training me. In fact, your brother is probably an even better teacher. I'll show everyone how powerful I am. Naruto clenched his fists. Determination is good and all, but I think you're bordering on obsession. Sasuke deadpanned. Naruto stood up, stretching his back and muscles. I'm surprised they haven't figured it out yet. I mean, mom is supposed to be a censor. We'll see us, Sasuke. Then Naruto walked home, feeling confused the more he tried to remember exactly why his father refused to train him. I'll find out eventually. He shrugged and winced. Sasuke had landed a good kick earlier. Chapter 4 Naruto was at the academy very early, excited for the test that had put him in his genin squad. Everyone else showed up half an hour later. Kara did too and waved excitedly at Naruto, but he didn't even look at her. Sasuke showed up last, a loose-fitting white shirt and a purple jacket tied around his waist. What's up, Sasuke? Sasuke waved at Naruto as he sat by his friend. So, exactly what are you gonna show? Naruto grinned. A lot. I'm gonna scare people. Think we should go all out in at least taijutsu? Sasuke nodded. Should be fun. Alright, class. Today the Hokage and his wife will be watching the exams to know who should be placed on what team. Show them the proper respect they deserve. Iruka-sensei called out. The class nodded, except Naruto, who simply scoffed. First test is written. When I pass your papers out, complete them without talking and turn them back face down. Iruka-sensei told us. That was a boring 20 minutes. The only question Naruto couldn't remember was the Nidaime Hokage's name. He shrugged. 9 out of 10 is good enough. Next up is taijutsu. One at a time, I'll call you up for a fight with myself where I'll judge your skill with taijutsu. Naruto stopped paying attention, only seeing 3 kids besides himself and Sasuke that were worth anything. They were Niji Hyuga, Tenten Miragashi, and Lee Rock. Kara Namikaze. Iruka called out. Now Naruto focused on the fight intently. He may be angry with them, but she was his sister. She shot forward quickly, throwing punches and kicks that Iruka looked impressed by. She was faster than the three before her but lacked physical strength. She spun on her heel, aiming a spinning kick towards Iruka's head. He caught her ankle and pushed her back, making her lose balance and fall. Very good, Kara. I see you've been practicing. You got a perfect score, Iruka said as he helped her up. Next up, Naruto Namikaze. Naruto stood, noting angrily that his parents weren't even paying attention because they were too busy doting over Kara. Iruka-sensei, what happens if we beat you? Naruto asked, still staring at his parents. Iruka laughed. Don't just assume you'll win. I'm a Chunin and you're still in the academy. Landing a single hit on me will be impressive. Naruto turned his eyes to his teacher. You didn't answer my question. Iruka looked mad. Alright, I'll give you a bonus 50 points on your final grade. Begin. I didn't take up a stance or anything, I remained calm, mirroring the way Itachi likes to fight. Then Iruka threw a punch that I moved my head just enough to dodge. He tried again, but I spun at speeds he couldn't follow and placed my hands on the ground and kicked him in the chin. The blow disoriented him, so I jumped up and drop-kicked his chest, sending him tumbling out of the ring. The class went deathly quiet. Minato and Kushina were staring at Naruto with wide eyes. Minato-kun, I thought you said you couldn't teach him? Minato replied slowly. I didn't. But I want to know who had the gall to teach my son without my permission. Naruto heard this and was seething under his calm exterior. Well, Hokage-sama, I thought that if you didn't want to be around me, I'll go find people who do and they helped with my training. I feel, though, that you're not mad someone trained me. You're mad that someone trained me better than you and your sensei trained Kara. Then Naruto went and sat back down. Minato glared angrily at his son, but said nothing. He should be proud of how powerful Naruto became, but Naruto was right. He was said that someone trained Kara's twin brother even better than he trained Kara. Kara walked over to Naruto. That was incredible, Naruto-kun. If you want, we could train later and you could help me with my taijutsu and I'll help you with ninjutsu. Naruto grunted angrily. You don't even speak to me for months, and now you do. You're only talking to me because you think I can help you become stronger than you are now. Sorry, but I refuse to be used by you or anyone else. So PSS off. Naruto, don't talk to your sister like that. Minato yelled at him. Naruto glared. Yes, Hokage-sama. You missed Sasuke's fight, by the way. Minato looked over. Sasuke had left Iruka in a crumpled heap on the floor, almost completely silently and quickly. 2 genin able to completely demolish a seasoned Chunin. It's pretty incredible. Taizen, the assistant Chunin instructor, said to Minato from behind. Minato nodded. He could give them that. Next up is ninjutsu. Perform transformation, substitution, and clone. For extra credit, you can do a jutsu you practiced on your own. Iruka said, just now having stood up. When it came to Kara, Minato looked at Iruka. She has a medical condition that prevents her from doing regular clones. She will be doing another type. Iruka nodded. It was special treatment, but he couldn't argue the Hokage. She did the first 2 easily and then created 10 shadow clones. She held her hands together and created a wobbly blue ball of chakra. Rasengan, she called out proudly. Naruto nearly laughed at her pathetic Rasengan. It looked like it'd fall apart if a light breeze hit it. Very good, Kara. Perfect score. Next up, Naruto Namikaze. Unlike his sister, Naruto did the 3 jutsu normally, not bothering with showing his ninjutsu to his father. Sasuke did the 3, plus the fire-style Grand Fireball. The Rookie of the Year ended up being Sasuke, then Naruto, then Kara. Chapter and Chapter 5 Itachi sighed. He was now a normal Jonin commander and in the Hokage's office. Please, Hokage-sama. May I make a request? Itachi asked. Minato nodded. Make it quick. I'm still deciding team placements. That's actually why I'm here. I request to be the Jonin sensei of Naruto and Sasuke. Itachi replied. Minato looked at Itachi astonished. It was you. You helped them get that strong. Itachi nodded. Yes. They're both prodigies unlike anything I've ever seen. Your son is Akutadash, I'll grant your request on one condition. Minato interrupted. Itachi smiled. Name it? I want your third pupil to be Kara. Minato said evenly. Wouldn't that make our team really overpowered? Itachi asked curiously. Might. I'll admit, but you trained Naruto with less time, but he's already stronger than Kara, and I've been training her for longer. I suspect you could do the same with Kara. Minato explained. Itachi knew Naruto wouldn't be happy, but it was the only way. Thank you, Hokage. Naruto passed out in the training ground after a long day of training. Naruto. My descendant, you must wake up. Naruto's eyes shot open. Who's there? An elderly man with horns and a staff appeared in front of him. There was nothing around them for miles, everything was black and a slight wind was blowing through. Hello, Naruto. Who I am is unimportant, I simply offer you a gift. A gift that has been lost to mankind for a very long time. He held out his hand. Naruto studied his hand. What's the gift? A power that was limited to my brother and I. We used it to save the world many times. What I offer you is a special form of chakra. I feel you will require it to save the world. Will you accept this gift, child of prophecy? The man extended his hand a little more. Naruto nodded with determination. I accept. Then Naruto grabbed his hand. Power filled his body to the brim and beyond. Naruto screamed in pain as he fainted. Power. Still growing inside him. For a brief moment Naruto's chakra became aqua-colored. Chapter 6. Naruto opened his eyes. He felt power like never before and grinned. Idly noticing his body was glowing with flaming green chakra. Then his body gave out and the cloak disappeared. Well, what the hell was that? Naruto breathed. It was the gift I gave to you. I suppressed the chakra to this area so that you didn't terrify your village. The man from before said in my head. How can I hear you? Naruto asked aloud. I can speak to you through your mind. Remember, child. Protect the earth. Protect it from what? Naruto asked. No reply came. The next day at the academy, Naruto had his feet propped against his desk and was leaning back, listening to the team announcements. Team 9, Niji, Tenten, and Lee. Your Jonin is Might Guy. Iruka read out. Team 10, Sasuke, Kara, and Naruto. Your Jonin is Itachi Uchiha. Naruto's eyes widened. His father must have figured out that Itachi was the reason he'd gotten so strong. Then the lights all flickered out for a moment. When everyone could see again, they saw Itachi Uchiha sitting on Iruka's desk. Naruto, Sasuke, and Kara. Join me on the roof. Then he disappeared into black wisps of smoke. How'd he do that? Kara asked, surprised. Itachi is better at genjutsu than even Kurenai Yuhi. He's one of the village's most powerful jonin. Iruka answered. Naruto didn't hear that though because he was halfway up the stairs. Itachi smiled at his students who just got to the roof. Let's get to know each other, alright. I'm Itachi Uchiha. I like candy, training, Naruto, and Sasuke. I dislike arrogance, stupidity, and anyone who hurts someone I care about. My dream is to marry a appealing girl and have cute kids in a peaceful world. You next, Sasuke. Sasuke sighed. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. I like tomatoes. I dislike people who smell badly. My dream is to become the most powerful ninja in the world. Naruto. Itachi prompted. Naruto looked at him boredly. I'm Naruto Namikaze. I like my friends, training, and reading. I dislike. Naruto glanced to the Hokage Tower. Certain individuals. My dream is to. I haven't thought about it really. Kara. Itachi prompted again. Kara smiled. I'm Kara Namikaze. I like foxes, training, and being the best. I dislike weaklings, people who ignore me, and a person named Kurama. Itachi nodded, wondering who Kurama's. Alright, we start missions tomorrow. I'm supposed to give you a test, but I've given the test to Naruto and Sasuke before so they know the answer. Basically, your teammates are your new family. Protect them, help them, and cover their backs. Today we will be training. I want Kara doing the water walking exercise with chakra weights on. When you can do it for at least 20 minutes, I'll teach you a jutsu. Naruto Sasuke. You two will be perfecting your weapon training. Chapter 7 Today team, you will be learning your nature affinity. Each of you grab a chakra paper and channel chakra into it. Itachi told his genin team. Kara looked happy, then decided to do hers quickly. Once she did, it turned out to be lightning like Sasuke. Yes, a strong element. Naruto chuckled. All elements can be powerful, it's up to you to make it strong. Naruto channeled chakra into his own paper, making it split in half. I already know my element, so does Sasuke. Why didn't you just give Kara a paper instead of having us do this? Kara snickered at Naruto. Mad because you got wind? Itachi raised an eyebrow. Kara, wind has an advantage over lightning, and wind is the most versatile of all 5 elements. Naruto is working on creating fire by vibrating it at a fast pace, and I knew a man who could focus it to drain the oxygen in certain areas to render fire and lightning completely useless. She grunted. How do I make lightning then? Itachi handed her a small light bulb. Make that light up. That's step 1. Naruto, Sasuke, since you two can already use your element for jutsu, I got you both a new technique. He tossed one to Sasuke. I bargained it from Kakashi Hatake. It's called Chidori, an A-rank assassination jutsu. Get started. He smirked at Naruto. For you, I figured you needed something that would be similar to the Chidori. It's called Kaze no Yari Wind Spear. You two go start, I'll help Kara. Naruto and Sasuke walked off together, obviously going to train together. Once Naruto started reading the scroll, he realized just what this jutsu could do that was special, which should have been obvious by the name. Its base form is a spear tip made of wind around your hand, then it can be stretched to great lengths and even thrown like an actual spear. It was awesome. Once he told Sasuke, Sasuke replied that he thinks the Chidori may be able to stretch in a similar way but maybe not be thrown. They each got to work, trying to outdo the other. Chapter 8. Naruto was walking home. Bandages covered his entire right arm from small cuts caused by his Kaze no Yari. He hadn't perfected it so it could cut him if he lost concentration. Then Naruto turned, sensing a familiar chakra. Hinata-chan. She stepped out from behind some bushes looking embarrassed. Hi Naruto-kun. Naruto smiled at her. I see you passed. I'm glad. She blushed at that. He's glad I passed. She thought happily. I was just heading home but I kinda wanna put it off for a while. You wanna go get dinner with me? My treat. Naruto asked, scratching his cheek nervously. Like a DD date? She asked, stuttering. Naruto looked away nervously. I guess you could call it that. His face had a light pink shade on his cheeks. Then she wobbled back and forth, uneasily. Wise. She got out meekly. Naruto jumped. Yes. She smiled, being slightly less nervous after seeing that. Chapter 9. Minato sighed. He was supposedly doing the right thing but he didn't feel like he was. Since Jiraiya came by yesterday he felt terrible. Jiraiya said something had changed the prophecy. Now it said, this great battle shall determine Earth's fate. One whose heart burns with fire shall rise to either warm us with that fire, or destroy us with it. The offspring of the 10 tails will be our only hope. Minato assumed that meant Kara since the 9-tailed fox was a part of the 10 tails. He would start training her even harder when she isn't with Itachi, starting by giving her full control over the 9 tails. Too bad he didn't know that the 10 tails children were actually the Rikudo Sannin and his older twin. The older twin had given Naruto the Tanagan, so he could also be the answer. Minato called Kara to his office. Time to pull the Kyuubi's power away from it. Ya dad? She asked once in his office. We are going into your seal. It's time we took the Kyuubi's power for you. Minato told her with determination. She nodded and held out her fist for Minato to bump. Over 2 hours later Minato fell back, chakra exhaustion evident. Kara's eyes shot open, glowing red with slitted pupils. Her body was covered in red chakra that flowed around her like flames. Kara? Minato asked nervously. She glared at him and took a menacing step towards him, then her eyes turned orange and the red chakra became orange. She shook her head, ridding her mind of the powerful dark influences. There's so much hate in this age chakra. She grabbed her head as the influence got stronger. She screamed in pain. The red chakra threw Minato back and a voice came from Kara that wasn't her own. Fourth Hokage. You've made a grave mistake. Her will isn't strong enough to resist the darkness of my chakra. She's going to become a Monsieuro, shut up you demon fox. At the end her voice returned to normal and she grunted, straining to release the powerful chakra. When it disappeared, she fell unconscious. Minato picked her up. Don't worry. I'll help you with the chakra. So will Itachi since his Sharingan can control the 9 tails. Minato. Kushina kicked the doors of the office open, shattering them when they hit the wall. I felt the Kyuubi's chakra. Where's Kara? It's alright, I helped her get the Kyuubi's chakra from him. There was a bit of a hiccup but everything is fine now. He said, not mentioning what the Kyuubi said. Chapter 10, Come on Hinata-chan. Naruto grabbed her hand and began jogging to his favorite ramen stand. All Hinata could think was, Naruto-kun is holding my hand. Her face was red and she had a big smile on her face, giggling and trying to keep up with the blonde Namikaze. When they got there, Naruto asked for a bowl of spicy chicken ramen, while Hinata got a beef ramen. So Hinata, how's training? Naruto asked awkwardly. She poked her fingers together. It's fine. I've been learning ninjutsu in secret because my clan looks down on ninjutsu. Naruto looked bewildered. They look down on ninjutsu. But an S-class ninjutsu sometimes has the destructive power to level entire villages, while with taijutsu you'd have to open all 8 gates to do that, and even then it'll kill you. She nodded. I know. They only fight at close range with the Jukin. Many of our clansmen have been killed by long-range specialists. Naruto frowned. Maybe I could help you train. I mean, if I ask and you wanted to, them saying you couldn't accept my help would be an insult to the son of the Hokage. Plus the Uchiha clan because that's who trained me. She nodded. That might wow. I just realized you haven't stuttered since we got here. It's really nice to hear you properly, you have a pretty voice. Naruto interrupted happily. Hinata blushed brightly. Thank you, Naruto-kun. After a couple hours, Naruto decided to walk her home. Hey Hinata. Yes, Naruto-kun. She asked softly. Can we do this again in a couple days? He asked, hoping beyond hope she'd say yes. She nodded, smiling at her crush. I'd like that. He grinned at her. Great. That's cool. He hugged her quickly and ran off, leaving her at her doorstep in a happy daze, jumping around like the happiest man in the village. Chapter 11. Minato sighed, still exhausted from expending all his chakra the night before. Daddy, can we have a better mission? Karist. Itachi raised an eyebrow while Sasuke looked interested, Naruto looked indifferent. Itachi, do you think they are all ready for something like this? Minato asked quietly. Itachi nodded. In all honesty, they could probably handle a B rank. Minato nodded and smiled. All right, Team Itachi, you will be going to Wave Country to defend a bridge builder from any and all threats. Your mission ends when the bridge is complete. Do you accept? Everyone nodded at that, even though Naruto didn't look at his father. Could be at the gate with enough supplies for 2 weeks in an hour. Dismissed. Everyone left after Minato dismissed them. Once at the gate, Naruto sat down by the wall, Sasuke sat in a tree, and Itachi stood by the gate. Kara arrived moments later, and tried to sit beside Naruto. Only for him to get up and walk off. She got mad and nearly yelled, but Tazuna finally arrived, smelling of alcohol. This is the super team of super ninja I hired. They look like a bunch of super brats. And you look like a super fat, drunk, piece of shit? Kara yelled irritably. Kara Namikaze. The client is paying for our services, that means he may talk to us any way he pleases. Besides, you do look like a super brat. Itachi told her. We are ninja. We persevere even if the client is a prick. Sasuke added. Naruto walked past her. You said you were ready for this. Let's go. You're just mad I can control the 9 tails now. She yelled after Naruto. He turned to her with a glare. I didn't even know that, and it only makes me respect you even less. Did you even try talking with him before subjugating him? I bet it was the Hokage's idea, right? You know, ripping his chakra away like that. It makes you no better than a SLV owner or a thief. She was stunned. She'd never knew the Kyuubi spoke English until she and her father took his power. I dash. That doesn't make you strong either. Strength doesn't come from being able to call upon a tailed beast. Naruto walked off, followed by Itachi and Sasuke. Kara walked after them, deep in thought. Chapter 12. The fog around Team Itachi was too thick to see very far. This isn't natural fog. Naruto, get rid of it, Itachi told his team. Naruto nodded and did 4 hand signs. Wind style, great breakthrough. A powerful wind blew away from the group, getting rid of all the fog for miles. Then Itachi vanished and everyone turned at the sound of a thud. Looking behind him, Sasuke saw Itachi holding the biggest sword he'd ever seen and his Sharingan was active. Kara spun on her heel at the sound of gruff laughter. You kids have a competent sensei. But you 3 are just playing ninja. Itachi Uchiha. You're very famous. My bingo book lists you as an S-class threat with an extremely high bounty. Known for being extremely talented at ninjutsu, genjutsu, taijutsu, and kenjutsu. If you really are S-class, then I doubt I could kill you. So let's make a deal. You give me the bridge builder, and I don't kill your team. Itachi smirked. How about you try it, especially since I've got your sword? Zabuza laughed. I dash, then he froze. If you're gonna kill someone, do it. I can cast powerful genjutsu if you look at my Sharingan. Itachi then hurled a kunai, only for it to be deflected by needles and for 2 people to appear in front of the frozen Zabuza. One was about 5'6" with a typical Umbu mask and robes. The other was almost 6 foot with black hair, blue eyes, and heavy muscles. He wore black baggy breaths tucked into his brown leather boots. He had a red muscle shirt and a short sword at his side that was almost 2 feet long and 3 inches wide in a straight blade. The shorter one grabbed Zabuza and vanished using body flicker. We'll see you guys again real soon, K? The large man asked. Then he vanished as well. Naruto grinned. That guy was special. He could tell. Chapter 13. Alright super ninjas. This is my super home. Tazuna called out loudly, clearly drunk. Itachi chuckled. You may want to lie down, Tazuna-san. He nodded sagely. You're right. I deserve a super nap. Then he passed out on the floor. Promise me you won't become alcoholics. Itachi sighed. You must be the ninja that my dad hired. A pretty woman with brown hair and an apron walked into the room. Naruto was reminded vaguely of I am from Ichiraku. Nice to meet you. I am Itachi Uchiha. This is my brother Sasuke, and my other students Naruto and Kara Namikaze. She blushed lightly at Itachi speaking to her. I'm glad you're dash. I'll go make dinner. She walked into the kitchen. Naruto raised an eyebrow. I've noticed that nearly all women are attracted to Uchiha men. Think it's part of your bloodline. Don't be stupid, Sasuke said, annoyed. Kara looked away, nervously. This caught Sasuke's attention and caused him to groan. Kara walked outside, obviously angry. Naruto, follow your sister outside. There are enemy Nin around here trying to kill Tazuna. Don't think they won't kill her to weaken us. Itachi told Naruto. Naruto sighed but did as he was told. She was walking through the forest looking angry. Naruto stealthily followed through the trees, watching her intently. She looked like she was getting mad at something. Damn it, Fox. Answer me. She sank to her knees. But why can't Naruto be proud of me like mom, dad, and baby sister? Why does he hate me? She punched the ground. Naruto sighed. I don't hate you, Kara. She looked over at him, tears streaming down her cheeks. What are you doing here? I'm making sure you don't get attacked by enemy shinobi. Kara, I want you to know I never hated you. I resented you when we were kids because our parents never wanted to spend time with me. Only you and Naomi. I cried a lot. Not knowing why mom and dad didn't like me was terrible. They always put me off into the dark and held you two in the light. So I found comfort in friends. I thought it was enough, but it wasn't. I still resent you. But I want to try to be your brother. Naruto looked ashamed of the way he'd been acting, but not quite ready to just stop. Kara jumped up and hugged Naruto tightly. I'm sorry. I didn't know. Naruto returned the hug and felt a chunk of his chakra release. Stepping back, he noted 3 black spheres floating around him. What the hell? Kara poked one and jumped in shock. It disrupted my entire chakra network. Naruto grabbed one, finding the humming vibrations it made to be comforting. What is this? The other two floated lazily around behind him. Naruto, what are these things? Did you make them? I have no idea, but I did feel my chakra drop just before they appeared. I'll ask Itachi. Naruto replied. Chapter 14. Naruto sat in an unoccupied part of the bridge, staring at the three floating orbs around him. They would float lazily around him randomly unless he focused on them, in which case they became faster and more predictable. So far he found that the faster they went, the longer they got, like they were stretching. Then Naruto held out his hand to one and willed it to change shape completely. It became a long black staff. The other two orbs gravitated towards the top. Too bad I don't know how to use a staff. I'll get Itachi to help me. Then he changed it to a black ring with three thick blades sticking from it. Wonder what else I can make. Then he felt a presence behind him and jumped to his feet, the orbs returning to their original shape and traveling in a circle around his body. Naruto didn't know why they were circling him at chest height at arm's reach, but he didn't care. Calm yourself. I'm not here to fight yet. The voice was powerful, confident, like he knew he couldn't be beaten. Naruto saw the muscular man from before. My name is Dagura no Tisho. I'm here to ask you to leave. He sat down and leaned against the railing. Why would we just leave? You're here alone, what if I kill you now? Naruto asked. The man laughed. I am virtually indestructible because of one of my two bloodlines. It's known commonly as black steel release. I can turn part or all of my body into black steel, which is harder than diamond. My other bloodline comes from my mother. Lava release. I and my friend Haku would much rather not have to kill you. Zabuza-sama would rather kill you, and especially your sensei. Please, leave so I don't have to kill again. Naruto looked sadly at him. He nodded. My friend Haku. He's too innocent and pure to kill anyone. Preferring to disable with his needles, so when he can't, I kill them. Naruto sighed. I'm sorry. We aren't going anywhere. Naruto pulled a kunai and shot forward quickly. The man made no attempt to block as the blade hit his chest. Instead of killing him, the blade's tip bent and it snapped in half. I told you, kid. I'm indestructible. Then he stood and walked off, leaving Naruto to his thoughts. Chapter 15. Itachi had the team stay on the bridge for the next few days when finally it was attacked. Zabuza charged Itachi, making sure to look away from his eyes to avoid genjutsu. Haku attacked Sasuke, and Naruto told Kara to defend Tazuna at all costs while he fought Dagura. She nodded, eyes orange with the Kyuubi's chakra. Naruto and Dagura exchanged a few punches, feeling each other out when Dagura's right arm turned black with a metal sheen and he backhanded Naruto across the chest, sending him back a dozen feet. Kid, I'd honestly rather not kill you, so please back off, he said as the black steel began to creep up his neck. Naruto stood up. You think you'll scare me with that love tap? Please. Dagura's eyes turned red, glowing orange cracks appeared over the metal and the heat burned his shirt away but left his breaths intact, must be heat resistant. Then his fist turned into lava. Last chance, kid. Naruto grinned and did 3 hand signs. Wind style, multi-air bullet. Then he spit 4 beams of pressurized air that could easily puncture any normal metal, but did nothing to the black steel that Dagura's body was made up of. Then Dagura charged, too fast for Naruto to react. To Naruto, everything slowed down dramatically. Dagura was 4 feet from him with his lava fist reared back. The heat burned against Naruto's skin, his mouth was dry, he felt fear. He knew this was the end. Then everything went black. Dagura stepped back from his attack. The entire middle of the bridge was now a sinking pit of lava. Nothing could have survived his ultimate attack. I wish I hadn't had to kill ya, kid. He muttered sadly. Don't think I'm done yet. Dagura looked up, there was a large black sphere rising from the lava. What the hell? Then it landed away from the lava and shrunk into 3 much smaller spheres around an unharmed Naruto. It appears you have a powerful bloodline. Dagura acknowledged. Naruto grinned as one sphere became a short staff, like a blunt sword. You know, instead of killing the bridge builder, Gato could have just gotten you to destroy it once it was done to shatter their moral. That's just cruel. But Gato isn't very intelligent, so he'd never have thought of that. Dagura replied, secretly happy that Naruto wasn't dead. Naruto glanced to his left and saw that Sasuke was trapped in a weird dome made of floating squares of ice. Kaze no Yari. Naruto spun and hurled a wind spear at the ice dome, cutting a perfect hole as big around as a dime in 2 mirrors and cutting Haku's leg. Your fight is with me. Dagura charged again. Chapter End. Chapter 16. Sasuke was trapped and Haku was moving much too fast to land a hit. Needles were everywhere and Sasuke had dodged most of them, but a couple were sticking from his back. Sasuke's Sharingan was just barely able to track the movements when Haku dashed toward him from behind, hoping to knock him unconscious. However, a piercing notice was heard and Haku yelled out, grabbing his side. A deep gash from what looked like a wind jutsu. Haku cursed. Your friend hit me. It must have been a lucky shot. Now I'll have to beat you quickly. Haku charged again, but he was just barely over half his earlier speed, so Sasuke was able to keep up and fight back. Itachi smirked at Zabuza. You should just take your apprentices and leave. No qualms about killing you, but I'd rather my team get some experience before getting their first kills. Zabuza glared at the Uchiha. Itachi was making a fool out of him without even trying to use genjutsu. Zabuza had cuts on his chest and a bruise over his eye where Itachi hit him with a powerful elbow. Itachi Uchiha was S-class, Zabuza was A-class. It really shouldn't be surprising that Itachi could beat him. Zabuza, this is your last chance. Itachi said, eyes going cold. Zabuza ripped his mask off and spit out some beel. Take your best shot, Uchiha. Itachi's Sharingan changed to look like a strange shuriken and he spoke. So be it. Naruto was amazed by the orbs around him. He hit Dagura in the head and the black steel fell off of him like leaves from a dying tree. Now Dagura lay at his feet and Naruto smiled. He'd knocked out a very powerful opponent, but was running on around 10% of his normal chakra reserves. He fell to his knees, breathing heavily and sweating. Then he passed out beside the larger man. We don't have to fight. We could. He was interrupted by Haku throwing needles at him, forcing him to use his kunai to deflect them. Sasuke then felt his brother's chakra become heavy in the air. Damn it. He's using it. Haku removed her mask. Using what? Itachi's ace in the hole. His Mangekyo Sharingan. It gives him access to power that obliterates any ninja. If we don't stop this, your Mster will die. Is that what you want? Sasuke yelled at him. The mirrors turned to water and Haku stood before Sasuke, gripping her side. If you try to hurt Zabuza-sama, I'll kill you. Itachi could beat all of us at the same time with his Mangekyo, Sasuke said grimly. Itachi's left eye began to bleed and he whispered, Amaterasu. Luckily for Zabuza, a wall of ice appeared in front of him and delayed the black fire so they could move. Itachi went to do it again, but Sasuke yelled. Stop, Itachi. Foolish little brother. Then he closed his bleeding eye and focused with the other one on Zabuza. Haku is too weak to continue fighting and Naruto beat Dagura. Zabuza looks like he could pass out at any minute. This fight is over. You don't have to kill them. Sasuke told him. If I don't, he will come back, Itachi said gravely. Looks like Zabuza is just a baby demon after all, said a fat man with glasses and a business suit. Itachi opened both eyes to glare at the newcomer and his army of bandits. Friends of yours, Zabuza? Zabuza grunted. He's the one who hired me. Itachi nodded. Sasuke, I will spare Zabuza and his apprentices. But I will kill Gato. He opened his eye a bit wider, his Sharingan spinning at a crazy speed. And all his mercenaries. Then the entire area erupted into black fire, not one bandit was spared. What power? Zabuza breathed, glad he didn't get hit. Then Itachi commanded the flames to be out. All that remained of those men was the burned ground. Itachi clamped a hand over that eye and his Sharingan deactivated. Itachi and I. You can't keep using that power, it hurts you. Wait till I get mine so we can stabilize, Sasuke said to him. Go get Naruto, Kara, and Tazuna. I'll watch them. Itachi glared at Zabuza, who was sitting down, leaning on Haku. Chapter End. Chapter 17. Zabuza. I wanna offer the three of you sanctuary in our village. Kara told the man before her. And how would you have any pull in a village, Genin? He asked, his rough voice curious. She smiled. Because my dad is the Hokage? Zabuza looked relieved. Now I'm really glad we didn't kill you. Having the yellow flash after us would be a definite death sentence. So what do you say? She asked again. He thought for a moment before shrugging. Sounds fine to me. I hear he's a nice guy when he's not slaughtering people. Great. She grinned in a way that made her look like Naruto. Whatever. All I know is there's a lake down there and I plan on swimming. Naruto walked past them, stripping down to his boxers, Sasuke and Itachi doing the same. Good idea, Naruto, Itachi said as he rid himself of his shirt. Kara got a devious smirk on her face. I think I know how to appeal to Sasuke-kun. She ran inside and borrowed a bikini from Tsunami. Luckily she had an orange one, and changed quickly. When she got back down to the water she saw Sasuke laying in the sand with his legs in the water while Itachi, Deidara, Zabuza, and Naruto were wrestling and dunking each other. Tazuna's daughter sat beside Sasuke with only her BR and panties on, substituting for a bikini. He didn't even glance at either of them until Kara got close, and even then he only smirked and chuckled out. Should have known you'd find some orange. Kara blushed and looked disappointed, then angry. She stood him up and grabbed the back of his hair and squished his face in between her beers. How about now, Sasuke? Like orange now? I bet you just love oranges now. Then she pushed him back on his butt and jumped out into the water. Sasuke sat there on the ground, red-faced. Chapter End. Chapter 18. Minato glared at Zabuza, Haku, and Deidara. Let me get this straight. You attack a Konoha team, with my daughter on it no less. And have the gall to ask for citizenship. Kara noticed sadly for the first time that her dad mentioned her but not Naruto. Itachi placed a hand on her shoulder to keep her quiet. Minato sighed. The only reason I'm saying yes is because you're bringing 3 capable shinobi, 3 bloodlines, and one of the 7 ninja blades of the mist. You will be on probation and receive my seal. All it does is allow me to teleport to you in the blink of an eye. Meaning if you turn traitor I'll cut you down and it'll be impossible to run away. Zabuza nodded grimly, knowing that even without the seal that Minato Namikaze was the fastest shinobi on the planet. Deidara laughed inwardly. Unless the 4th had powers like his son, that negate his own, he couldn't do much other than tag him. Haku didn't care, he liked it here. Itachi stepped forward. As you can see the 3 of us are very tired. If it's not too much trouble we'd like the week off to recuperate. I hear Jiraiya wants to teach Kara the sage arts. I want permission to take Naruto to learn to use what I believe is a new bloodline. Minato looked curious. A new bloodline? You sure it's not Kushi-chan's chains? Positive. So far they are 3 small orbs that float around him at all times unless he hides them like he is now. He can change their shape at will and they come to his aid if he's about to be hit and he can't dodge it. They are extremely durable, able to withstand tremendous force and heat, and they repel chakra. Itachi told him calmly. Naruto, show me these orbs. Minato commanded. Naruto held up his hand, showing 3 black rings on his right hand fingers except his pinky. They then floated off and changed to their regular form and began floating around the room. Naruto, can you give one to me? Minato asked. If you want your chakra control shot to hell for about half an hour for just touching one. Naruto chuckled darkly. That a threat? Minato asked coldly. Not at all, Hokage-sama. Naruto's reply actually sent a slight shiver down Minato's spine, and he realized that Naruto hasn't called him dad in years. He knew why. He ignored the boy at every turn in favor of his sisters. But for the fate of the world he will bear his son's anger. If only he knew. Naruto, would you like to learn Rasengan? I can give you the steps. Minato offered, hoping his son wouldn't be quite so angry. I'll pass. I've gotten this far without you, I don't need any help from you. Naruto's reply was a bit harsh, but he'd never admit that. Naruto, come on, this is an A-rank jutsu, you don't see many of those out there. Minato tried again. I've got 3 A-rank techniques that Itachi-sensei gave me, without me ever asking. I asked you hundreds of times to help me. Or even to just spend time with me. So no. I don't want your jutsu. Naruto's normally calm demeanor cracked. He widened his eyes and took a deep breath. I apologize for my outburst. I will accept whatever punishment you deem necessary. Minato felt his words cut deeper than any kunai. Everyone is dismissed. Naruto, I'd like for you to stay a moment. He sighed. Is that an order as my Kage? Minato answered. If it needs to be. Fine. Naruto answered, locking his fingers behind him. His orbs moving in wider and more erratic arcs. Minato stood up when they left and leaned against his desk, in front of Naruto. Was I so bad a father that you truly hate me? Naruto remained silent, but his glare spoke for him. I want to try, Naruto punched his father in the gut, doubling him over. But I don't want you anymore. I'm not the same kid who begged for your attention. You might be feeling guilt now, but that doesn't change all the years where you literally acted as if I weren't there. You and Kushina must have hated me since BR. I never had birthday parties like Kara and Naomi. You two never tucked me in, never told me everything was alright, never spoke to me unless I got into trouble, never told me good job or gave me a compliment. I don't know why you two hated me. But you can both take your excuses elsewhere. I don't want them. Itachi is more of a father to me than you've ever been. Then again, anyone who's ever cared about me has been more of a father to me than you. Naruto had tears in his eyes as he stepped back, realizing what he'd done. He ran. As fast as he could, he ran out of the tower. Minato thought about going after his son, but knew it wouldn't change anything. Umbu, why didn't you stop his punch? He asked sadly. The Umbu pulled his mask off, revealing none other than Kakashi Hatake. Because if even half of that is true, then you deserved it? Naruto was running at full speed, tears framed his cheeks, but the wind he was generating would blow them away. Then he bumped into someone and sent them tumbling. When they stopped rolling, Naruto saw it was Hinata Hyuga that he'd run into. And she was currently on top of him. Chapter End. Chapter 19. Naruto stood and helped Hinata up. Hey, sorry I bumped into you, Hinata. She brushed a tear off Naruto's cheek. Why are you crying, Naruto-kun? He took her hands into his own. A lot of things. But I feel better now, talking to you. Can we go somewhere? I want to get out of here for a while. Let's go. She pulled him backwards, not aware of what direction it was and not caring in the slightest. They made their way to a training ground eventually. The teens sat on the ground and the orbs floating around Naruto gave off a faint greenish-blue light. Naruto was leaned against a training pole with Hinata right beside him. Hinata, I don't know what to feel right now. She nodded. Well, why you tell me what happened, she asked. Naruto sighed, then told her everything. Everything from him being neglected all the way to punching his father. You see, Hinata, I'm damaged. You don't need a friend like Dash. She silenced him by kissing him fiercely. Naruto, you have your problems, but I've always admired you for being able to endure them and still smile. I've watched you since we were children after you saved me from bullies after school. I was always too shy to actually talk to you, but we have similar situations. Father ignores me for my younger sister, and ever since mother died he hasn't said so much as a kind word to us. He told me I was pathetic just this morning for losing to my sister. Naruto, I admire your will of fire that lets you keep getting up no matter what. I always ran behind you, trying to catch up. But now I want to be by your side, to face down our obstacles together. Naruto was stunned, happy beyond belief but stunned. Hinata. She smiled softly. Now who's got a stuttering pee problem? She slipped at the end, her previous courage fading with the butterflies in her stomach. Naruto pulled her as close as he could, just holding her. Hinata-chan. I don't know what to say. What you just confessed, it's overwhelming. Why would you want to stand by me? She kissed his jawline softly. Because I love you. Always have. Hinata-chan. I'll never lie to you, so I can't say I love you back just yet. But I want the chance to be able to. I definitely like you more than any other girls, so please. Will you be my G-? Naruto was interrupted by another kiss. Hinata giggled. You don't have to ask, Naruto-kun. My answer will always be yes for you. Minato. Something happened big time. Jiraiya stood in Minato's office. Minato glared. Another prophecy change. Jiraiya nodded. I don't know how it's possible because prophecies are usually permanent with little to no change. The Great Toad told me that. The death of she who binds shall mark beginning. The one who wears the sage's cloak and seeks the truth will either protect or decimate this world, and the one of all-seeing eyes will be the key. Should she fall, the world will follow suit. The Toad said that this prophecy is different, almost set in stone. But who has the sage's cloak? A power like that would definitely be easy to notice, right? Minato groaned. I'm starting to see why we shouldn't know the future. If you didn't tell me the first prophecy, I'd never have ignored Naruto and he wouldn't hate me. Jiraiya smiled sadly. Kid, that's what it means to be Hokage. To sacrifice everything for the sake of those precious to you. I recommended you because you would be able to make the hard choices that weaker men wouldn't. If you bear his hatred and succeed in protecting everyone, at least he'll be safe. Then Minato's eyes widened. Wait, Naruto just unlocked a new bloodline. What if they're part of the sage's cloak? If I'm right, then we've been looking at this all wrong. He stood up angrily. Kid, the Jinchuriki of the 9 tails gets a sage cloak if they emstar all 9 tails. Jiraiya told him. The one who binds. Think it means Kushina or Naomi's chakra chains. Minato asked as he dismissed his earlier idea. Jiraiya nodded. I figured as much. But the best we can do is protect them. Where are they? Minato cursed. Damn it. Naomi is on a mission in Kiri. Go get Team Itachi. You've got 5 minutes. Why send them? Jiraiya asked. Because Itachi can fight nearly anyone alive. Minato told him. Chapter 20 Naruto, Itachi, Sasuke, and Kara were moving at full speed, stopping only when absolutely necessary. Naruto was feeling something strange, like his power was changing at its base level. Sasuke had his now fully matured Sharingan active, keeping his eyes out for enemy attacks. The Sharingan slows things down and increases perception exponentially and allows the user to see chakra, so he figured it was a good idea. Itachi had his open but only so he could see, otherwise he'd be mostly blind. Kara was the only one excited. She figured that if their dad thought it best to send them, then it can't be that bad. Naomi. Neji yelled over the fighting. And his other teammate, Rock Lee, were trying to fight off the dozens of ninja. Naomi was holding a Rasengan in each hand as she jumped high. Just give us the girl brat. We may even let you Liug. Naomi landed on him from above, shoving the Rasengans into the man's shoulders, breaking his arms at the sockets and crushing his ribs. Naomi stood up. You can't have her. We are taking her to the land of snow. So leave or we will kill you. Naomi was red-headed like her mother, but she possessed unnatural talent and had already mastered the 2 jutsu that made Minato famous. She looked around at the men. She only had 2 Hiraishin kunai, and Lee and Neji kept them so she could get to them quickly. Guy was fighting another ninja that appeared to be their leader. Guy had activated 3 gates and was barely keeping up. 4th gate, 5th gate, 6th gate, 7th gate, Gate of Joy. Open. Naomi looked at her sensei as he released 7 of the 8 gates. The man smirked and crouched. Cyberpath, power at 75%. The man had a yellow piece of glass over each eye. He wore a leather trench coat, black breathes, and black shoes. His hair was short, and he had light facial hair. Then he gripped the trench coat and ripped it off, exposing something truly shocking. His arms and most of his torso were mechanized. He caught Guy's punch with his left hand. "Wanna know a secret?" the man asked. "When I was a kid, I was in a genin squad, always trying to catch up to my teammates, never getting much stronger. I was the brains of the group, so I realized that there was another option. I based my body on 2 things. A puppet user from Suna who had a mechanical hand and a man with ripple patterns in his eyes. He was able to convert his body into technology generations past what we have currently. He allowed me to study the technology his body could become if I would make him a few things. 85% of my body is mechanical, made of a metal that is harder than carbon steel. Once I did this, my teammates thought I was a freak. So I killed them. His free hand separated and changed to look like a cannon with red light coming from inside it. He aimed it at Guy's chest, but at the last second, a chain grabbed it and yanked his arm to the right just as it fired a beam of red energy that cut into the landscape. Naomi had a glowing chain in her hand. So basically, you're a nerd. The man narrowed his eyes. Those chains are interesting. I'll enjoy strangling you with them. Guy used the power of the 7 gates to deliver an earth-shattering punch to the man's cheek. It made him skid back and spit some BLD. You are very strong. I wonder if I can replicate the boost you get within myself. Raisin-sama. More Leaf Nin are on their way. Called a man with a katana. The man, now known as Raisin, sighed. Guess I'll have to finish you quickly. Chapter 21. Raisin extended his arm, a black blade with a flat tip. He and Guy got into a blur of motion that was completely impossible to follow, Guy only able to keep up because he was a MSTR of Taijutsu. Niji used the vacuum palm to send a nin through the air. Lee smashed the man back down to the ground with a powerful axe kick. Boom. Naomi turned. Guy had used up the last of his strength in one final punch to Raisin's stomach. The blow carried such tremendous force that it obliterated the area around them. Raisin flew back into a wall, making it crumble down on top of him. Naomi ran to Guy. Sensei, help is on the way, just stay still. Ooh. Naomi looked to the pile of boulders and rubble. Fing. The rubble exploded out. Ingrate. Raisin was there, a dent in the metal on his chest and golden liquid leaking from the sides. He placed a palm on his chest and examined the liquid. My concussion gel is leaking. It'll take hours to fix this. He glared at Guy. You'll pay for that. Guy coughed up. Building on me. Get your teammates in. To get out of here. I'll hold him off. Guy tried to stand, but staggered and fell down. I won't leave you behind. I'll kill him. Or die trying. She stood and hurled a kunai. Multi-shadow clone kunai jutsu. The kunai turned into hundreds, but Raisin dodged each one easily. Foolish girl. You see these lenses over my eyes. I call them eagle perception. It has the prediction quality and the ability to slow things down like the Sharingan and the sharpness and perfect sight in all conditions like the Byakugan. Simply put, you can't trick my eyes. Holy shit, you like to brag. Naomi deadpanned. Niji and Rock Lee landed beside her. Naomi, perhaps you shouldn't make the guy who beat Guy mad. Niji tried to reason with her, getting a smirk from her. Lee smiled. We will defeat him with the power of youth. No, we'll beat him with teamwork. Itachi Uchiha landed directly between them, Naruto, Kara, and Sasuke to either side of them. Raisin grimaced. It's like I kicked an anthill. He frowned at the gel, still leaking from his chest. It appears I won't be able to play for much longer. Fire style. Great fireball. Sasuke and Itachi blew out 2 massive fireballs. Wind style. Great breakthrough. Naruto bellowed, blasting the wind and increasing the size and potency of the fireballs. Raisin tapped a button on his belt. A yellow barrier appeared around his body just before the fire hit. Cyberpath, 100% power. He yelled through the flames. Chapter 22. Raisin's body gave off a bit of golden light in multiple parts of his armor. This is my full power. Try to keep up. He vanished from sight, a dust cloud replacing him and a burst of wind that stunned the group. What power? Kara exclaimed. Instantly Naruto's orbs shot out like sharply pointed tentacles, trying to impale Raisin. Raisin easily dodged them and sliced at Naomi, only to have her vanish in a flash of yellow light. Raisin grinned. So that's the famous jutsu of the 4th Hokage. It seems it has tremendous potential for evasion and surprise attacks. With 50 Chunin able to use that jutsu, I could take out any army. Or 10 Jonin. The blade on his arm retracted. He smiled. 4 of you have Kage-level reserves. I've no doubt I could kill any of you one-on-one, but all of you would cause more damage that I'll have to repair. So see you later. Then he turned and vanished in another incredible burst of speed. Itachi knelt over Guy and began using a basic healing jutsu to help him. Naomi waved at Kara, then turned her eyes to Naruto. Big brother. She whispered. He heard and nodded at her. She smiled brightly. Unlike Kara, Naomi loved Naruto and admired him, but their parents pushed her away from him and towards Kara. She always wanted to play with him but couldn't. How are you? Naruto was idly reminded of Hinata as she smiled nervously at him. I'm fine, Naomi. How are you? Besides being attacked by the Terminator. Naruto chuckled at that. Naomi smiled brightly. Training mostly. Guy-sensei trains us into the dirt on a regular basis. But my taijutsu has improved greatly, so it's worth it. Anyway, we are actually on a mission, skirting a mean lady back to Snow Country so she can be a princess. But with Guy like he is, I doubt we can protect her. Itachi looked at the princess, who just turned her nose up at the Uchiha prodigy. We'll take you. This is now a joint mission. Niji, I need all the details for this mission. Kara walked over and held her fist out. The fox wants to talk to you. Naruto raised an eyebrow, but bumped her fist. Anyway, instantly Naruto and Kara were ankle-deep in water, standing in front of a gigantic caged fox. Welcome to my humble abode, children. The fox's voice was deep and powerful enough to make the water ripple. It's polite to give your name when meeting someone. Naruto crossed his arms. The fox scoffed. No one's asked my name since the first Hokage's wife was my container. Very well. I am Kurama. Naruto bowed. It's nice to meet you, Kurama. I am Naruto. Now why did you want to speak to me? Kurama leaned forward, staring at Naruto inquisitively. I feel my father and uncle in you. Why is that? Naruto looked surprised. You feel them in me. He nodded. My uncle's presence is stronger in you and a lot of it is dormant. If they have taken interest in you, then I will as well. At the moment you can't use your sage cloak because your chakra will burn your body out. My chakra has unique healing qualities. I can't give you chakra, but I can change your chakra. It will be more potent, but you'll have the same amount you've got now. I only need your permission. Naruto thought for a moment. Can I trust you? My uncle apparently trusts you, so I will help you and not try to harm you whatsoever. The fox swore. Chapter End. Chapter 23. Raisin. I see your mission was unsuccessful. Raisin was in a chair with the armor plating on his arm on a table next to him, and he was adjusting the inside with strange tools. A man with orange hair and purple swirled eyes was in the doorway. Sorry, Pain-sama. They had dashed. The gravity in the room increased so much it was hard for Raisin to breathe. I don't care for your excuses. Get it done before the princess can bring spring to Snow Country. Pain ordered angrily, then he turned on his heel and began to walk away. Wait, after this are we free to go? Raisin asked, sounding worried about something. Pain glared at him over his shoulder. I haven't decided yet. If you fail, it won't matter because I'll kill the two of you myself. Raisin turned back to his dismantled arm. I promise you, Helia. I will get us out of here. Raisin thought to himself. Raisin lifted up a small red tube and placed it inside his arm, inside a piece of metal that looked like a bone. Or die trying. He added with grim determination. Naruto grinned at Kurama. Sounds good to me, Kurama. The giant nine-tailed fox matched Naruto's grin and bumped fists with him. In the real world, Naruto's eyes popped open and his body was covered in greenish-blue flame like chakra. Then the wind kicked up tremendously as his chakra cloak turned orange and gold, his hair spiked up higher, and it was fading in certain areas every couple seconds. Naruto felt powerful, like he could rip a hole in the earth all the way to the other side. His orbs had a similar orange and gold aura. The group around him was awed by the strange, powerful transformation. Kara fell back, stunned that the Nine Tails did this to her brother. Naruto, how do you feel? Sasuke asked. Awesome. F-I-N-G awesome. He replied as the gold chakra went inside his body. Hey, where'd it go? He asked confused. Kara replied after a moment. Kurama says you gotta learn to control the cloak, and that it'll be extremely difficult. He also says good luck. Tell him I said thanks. Naruto replied happily. Alright, Team Guy. Since your sensei requires medical treatment, I need you to take him back to the Leaf Village. We will finish your mission for you. Itachi told the other team as Lee and Naomi were putting Guy on a stretcher. Lee smiled. I was actually going to ask you that anyway. Niji nodded and Naomi looked disappointed, not being able to finish the mission with Naruto. Itachi then walked over from Guy to retrieve the mission scroll and get any extra information he could. Never a dull moment, and Naruto? Sasuke asked, smirking. Naruto grinned. Not with you guys, that's for sure. Hey, I've been thinking. Itachi said the easiest way to get Mangekyo Sharingan was to kill someone you love, right? Because the emotion you feel pushes you over the edge. Sasuke nodded. Yeah, otherwise you gotta keep your Sharingan active for 7 days and nights without deactivating it. That's how Itachi did it. I can only go 2 days before the pain forces my eyes to deactivate. Naruto scratched his head. Or you could get Itachi to put you in a realistic genjutsu and make you kill them. That's Sasuke stopped. He was going to say stupid, but he knew how powerful Itachi's genjutsu were. That actually might work. Chapter 24. Naruto found fairly quickly that he hated sailing. Currently he was in the shared room he had with Sasuke and Kara, trying to pretend he wasn't on a boat. Itachi was personally skirting Princess Yuki anywhere she went. Sasuke stood at the crow's nest and Kara on deck. What would you know? You're just a ninja, basically a mercenary with superpowers, Yuki responded to something Itachi said. Itachi glanced at her, masking his emotions. While, technically you are correct. I always do what I feel is right, no matter how much I'm being paid. All I'm telling you is that you should go easier on that man. He's been taking care of you from the shadows for a long time, and in his eyes you are his only hope. So please, stop treating him like he's trash. She looked away. Itachi could see a bit of guilt in her eyes. I thought you were hired to protect me. How can you do that if you're talking down to me? She asked bitterly. Itachi smirked. I'm very good at multitasking. Then Itachi moved so quickly, it appeared to her that he simply vanished. Yuki, you're home. Itachi said from behind her, scaring her slightly. A blush crept onto her irritated face. Why'd you do that? Itachi looked puzzled. Do what? That super speed thing. She was annoyed now, so Itachi decided to tell her the truth. It's a technique called shunshin. My cousin is famous for it and I figured I should get good enough to use it in a similar way he does. No telling when I'll need to move faster than normal. Finally. Off this shitty boat. Naruto ran past them as the ship docked. He bumped Yuki into Itachi as he passed, getting a grin from Kara. I think it's illegal to have SEC with a princess, Itachi-sensei. Unless you're a prince, but you are kind of a prince. Being the heir to the Uchiha clan and all, so you might can. She grinned happily. Yuki was blushing but Itachi looked undisturbed. Kara, I want 600 push-ups in the snow, without your jacket as motivation to do them quickly. She paled. It's too cold. I'll get sick. Itachi smirked slightly. Then I suggest you get started close to the fire. Then Itachi's eyes widened and he grabbed Yuki and Kara and used shunshin to get them off the ship just as a giant whale made of ice obliterated the boat from underneath, killing the men still below deck. What the hell? Kara yelled. Itachi narrowed his eyes at 3 people in strange-looking armor. Kara was frantic. Where's Sasuke? Itachi glanced to the water angrily. He couldn't go help Sasuke and leave everyone to these guys. Kara noticed him glance at the water and froze. A tear escaped her eye before she got angry and ran towards the water. Kara, damn it. She dived in, hopefully Itachi could save them. Naruto jogged over, a glare plastered to his face as the 3 ninja charged. Naruto fought the larger guy with the mechanical arm. Naruto ducked under a punch, then sidestepped another punch. Your taijutsu SEKS? The large man grunted and went for an overhead hammer strike. Naruto didn't even bother dodging, allowing the black orbs to block the strike easily. Surely this isn't all you've got. I've been on that diamond boat for days, so I'm gonna release my frustration on you. The orbs wrapped around the man's metal arm and crushed it like a soda can. You little brat. The man tried to hit Naruto again, only to take a kick to his chest, making him stumble slightly. Kara finally pulled Sasuke from the water. He had gotten pinned under a large section of the ship, so Kara used the Nine-Tails chakra to free him. She laid him down in the snow, noting he wasn't breathing, and started CPR. Damn it, Sasuke. Don't die. Chapter End. Chapter 25. Raisin smirked at his new arms. They were stronger than his old ones and had thicker fibers inside them. His chest piece now had an extra layer over it to withstand stronger attacks. The extra metal cost him a bit of speed, but it was negligible. On his way out to get a few things to make a melee weapon, he passed the closest thing he had to a friend in the Akatsuki. Kisame nodded grimly at him and shoved a sheet of paper in Raisin's hand. Once back in his lab, he read the note. Pain is gonna kill the girl and you after your mission. I patrol on Thursdays. Go then and I won't stop you. Raisin burned the paper in his hand. I would kill him first, but he's too strong. It'd take at least 5 of me. Then he got a devious smirk as he walked over to his blueprints. Maybe it's time to start Project Legion. Itachi Uchiha. Pleasure to meet you, the man in white armor said. Itachi nodded. I've heard of you from Kakashi Hatake. If what he says is true, then I'm not worried about you at all, Nadar. Chapter End. Chapter 26. Raisin was ecstatic. In 3 short days he'd created a Cyberman and started on 2 others. Each with different special abilities. Only one was working properly for now and ready for use. Voltage. Activate. Raisin commanded the mechanical man on the table in front of him. The small lights on its helmet lit up and it sat up. Its armor was bluish-gray and dark gray in areas around the bluer part. It stood to its feet and turned to Raisin, then got down on one knee in a bow. I should have given you the ability to talk. Raisin thought absently. Voltage shrugged, then looked up. I need you to do a few things for me. Naruto stood with his foot on the larger man's neck. Itachi had killed the flying girl and was glaring into Nadar's eyes with his Sharingan active. Itachi had him in a genjutsu and was searching his mind. Sasuke was being warmed up by Kara and Princess Yuki was sitting by the fire. Itachi then stabbed Nadar in the throat. We need to go. The only threat left is Date. He's a high A-class Jonin, so I will take him while you 3 protect Yuki. Alright sensei, but you should take one of us as backup, Kara spoke up. Kara, I'm a high Kage level. I'm in a whole other league from a regular Jonin. The only person in the village I can't fight on equal grounds is your dad. I won't need backup against a man like A, Itachi replied confidently. Naruto stood up. Sorry sensei. You're my comrade, I'll never leave you behind. Itachi saw a brief flash of Kakashi. Those who break the rules are trash, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash. That was something Kakashi told him when he was first starting out, and it made a huge impact on his life. Itachi smiled. Fine. You will act as support while I fight. Understand? Naruto nodded happily. Yes, sensei. Itachi turned to Kara and Sasuke. Sasuke was in no condition to fight just yet. You 2 stay here, I'll place camouflage genjutsu around this area so protect the princess. Chapter End. Chapter 27. Raisin wiped sweat from his brow. He had 5 cybernetic ninja now with their own powers and strengths. He was ready to get his teammate and run. Voltage, Titan, Shroud, Hunter, and Dragon. Activate. Raisin smiled as they each came to life. He could see their status inside his lenses. Mister, what is our mission? The tallest one asked. It had the bulkiest frame and was built to tank right through just about anything. Its name was Titan. All except Voltage were capable of speech. Distraction while I retrieve someone. Once I'm gone I'll signal you all to leave, if you are still functioning. Date grinned. His armor would protect him from any weak jutsu this man could use. Itachi glared, his Sharingan spinning erratically. You realize I have to kill you, right? He laughed and shot forward. He threw his arm back, preparing for a massive punch. Itachi stepped to the left, allowing the punch to sail by harmlessly. Then jumped back as Date snarled. You think being able to dodge my punch means you're stronger? Think again. No, I already won. Itachi said confidently. Date laughed loudly. I'm not beat yet, kid. Itachi smirked coldly. When you threw that punch, I had enough time to slap a handful of exploding tags to your back and disguise them with genjutsu. Surrender or die. Date looked back, not seeing anything. He pointed a large finger. You think I'll fall for that bluff? I'll dash boom. He vanished in an explosion that rocked the clearing. I did warn you. Itachi shrugged. Naruto landed beside Itachi. That was awesome. Itachi smirked. Nadar was actually tougher? Naruto nodded at that. Let's get back to Sasuke and Kara. Chapter 28. Raisin glared at Pain. You beat them that quickly. You really are unstoppable. Pain nodded. I am a god. You were a fool to stand against me. I'll admit though that they were very interesting creations. Raisin was lifted into the air by gravity. Pain walked closer. If it's any consolation, Helia has been dead for months. I just never told you. Tears escaped Raisin's eyes as he glared. You're not a god. You're the devil. Then Raisin smiled a small smile and whispered, Cyber barrier. Raisin fell to his knees and shot forward, his right hand becoming a blade, and he swung at Pain. Gravity stopped Raisin again, but Raisin laughed. The bladed hand separated at the forearm and shot at Pain, stabbing into his chest. BLD escaped Pain's mouth and he fell over. Raisin coughed. At least I've killed one of you. Then Pain aimed a palm at Raisin and squeezed. Raisin's body imploded in on itself. The real Pain sighed. Such a waste. I'll repair the gravity Pain and destroy the land of snow. Naruto tensed, trying to call out the sage's cloak but not managing to do it. Sasuke was training with his sword and had bandages over his eyes, along with Itachi. They had already unlocked Sasuke's Mangekyo and traded eyes. Kara began trying to add lightning to her Rasengan and make a very destructive power. I'm thinking of letting you guys take part in the Chunin exams, Itachi said, taking a break from training Sasuke. Naruto scoffed. We are at least low Jonin in power. Do you think the other teams will even stand a chance? Itachi nodded. It's more or less a formality. We've had 2 A-class missions now and you've done incredibly. I'm betting it'll be you 3 and Naomi at the end. Naruto smiled softly at that. I bet I win. Sasuke hurled a pebble. You forget that I've got access to the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan now. Kara has most of the Nine Tails power. Naomi can vanish in an instant, and you have little black ball. Naruto turned an annoyed glare at Sasuke. These black ball can stop S-rank jutsu in their tracks. He shrugged. Susanoo is the pinnacle of defensive and offensive techniques. Kara interrupted. Kurama has more chakra than any other creature on the planet. So nah, I think I'll win. Now Itachi was smiling at them. You've really turned into a family. 3 days later in the Leaf Village team, Itachi walked into the examination room with their heads held high, proud of their progress. Naruto had his chakra orbs turned into rings on his right hand and his 2 teammates followed closely behind him. In the classroom, a man with scars, a black trench coat, and a black bandana explained the rules of the written test. Congratulations to those of you who've passed the test, Marino Ibiki said loudly. Naruto grinned because he'd spent most of the time drawing on his paper. All right kids, come with me. Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze walked into the room in her typical Jonin outfit. Chapter 29. Naruto, Sasuke, and Kara were rocketing through the forest looking for another team to snatch their other scroll. Kara suddenly halted, making the other 2 stop as well. What's wrong, Kara? Sasuke asked lowly. Recently Kurama gave me the ability to sense negative emotions, and I sense some very powerful malice around here. She replied, getting ready for a fight. Kukuka. You're a talented sensor, young Namikaze. Today I want the 3 of you to entertain me. A man with long brown hair and a grass village headband stepped from the shadows slowly. Sasuke activated his fully matured Sharingan and Naruto's orbs began circling him. Naruto, how much of the cloak can you use? Sasuke whispered, getting a grunt. Not a lot, but maybe enough. Naruto's eyes turned a glowing yellowish orange. A red aura appeared around Kara. The man smiled. Interesting. It appears I won't be able to hold back. Then he pulled a long sword from his mouth. Sasuke and Naruto shot forward first, Naruto aiming high and Sasuke aiming low. The man sidestepped Sasuke and threw Naruto easily. Rasengan. Kara yelled, only for the man to swat the powerful blue orb away with his sword. Sasuke was already doing hand signs. Fire style, double fireballs. A pair of fireballs shot from his mouth, twisting and turning in on each other. Kaze no Yari. Naruto yelled, hurling a wind spear through the fire. This resulted in a single orange beam hitting the man in the chest and going all the way through. Then the fireballs caught up and hit him also. The attack would have killed a normal person, but this man was reduced to mud. Sheet! Naruto yelled, his eyes fading to blue. Sasuke, the Mangekyo powers would be incredibly useful right now. I don't know how to use them. The bandages came off yesterday, remember? Sasuke called back, clashing his sword with the man. Kara went for an overhead swipe, but the man ducked and blue fire lit up at his fingers. 5-pronged seal. Then he hit Kara in the stomach. Naruto's right hand became encased in the golden aura and he shot forward in anger. Raya Ag. The punch hit the man in the left arm, completely tearing it from the socket. BLD turned to vapor from the sheer speed that the punch was thrown. The man's eyes widened. Then he spit a completely regenerated version of himself from his mouth. He turned to Naruto angrily. To think, a lowly genin like you could do so much damage to my body. Naruto's glowing chakra faded from his fist. The man grinned. You should be proud. Most jonin can't do that to the legendary Orochimaru, strongest of the Sannin. Sasuke was suddenly surrounded by a purple aura. Ararga. A ribcage of condensed purple chakra formed around him. Leave him alone. A skeletal arm formed and tried to squash the man, obliterating the ground beneath him. Orochimaru appeared near Sasuke and went to try and cut through the skeletal aura, only to have it deflected by the impenetrable chakra. Interesting. Seems your Sharingan is more developed than I. Over by the tree line, Kara was slipping from consciousness but managed to toss her father's kunai. There was a yellow flash and a long cut developed along his chest and he flew back, bleeding heavily. Minato Namikaze stood there, glaring angrily at the snake Sannin. I see you've attacked my daughter's team. Prepare to die. He vanished again and kicked Orochimaru through the tree he was leaning on. Orochimaru may be a Sannin, but the yellow flash was an unstoppable force on any battlefield. Naruto stood shakily. How'd he know where we were? He saw the kunai a dozen feet away and understood immediately. Chapter 30. Minato stalked forward as Orochimaru pulled himself to his feet. Knowing he'd never be able to run fast enough to get away, he prepared to fight. Minato scoffed. You know you can't beat me, just roll over and die. Orochimaru seethed. I still have a few tricks up my sleeve. Reanimation jutsus. He slammed his palm down, making 3 coffins with the numbers 1, 2, and 3 written on them. When the fronts fell over they revealed the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Hokages. Now Orochimaru had a sick grin. I may not be a match for you alone, but with your predecessors I believe I can kill you. Minato-kun, Hiruzen, the 3rd Hokage, said astonished. How am I here? Minato glared. Ask your pet snake. Tobirama, 2nd Hokage, looked around. It appears someone's learned my kinjutsu, brother. I see that. Too bad he didn't bring us out at our max power, we could have broken free and killed him. Hashirama, the 1st Hokage, sighed. Orochimaru aimed a finger at Minato. I command you to kill him. All 3 shot forward with speed that impressed Minato. If only a bit. After all, in a contest of speed. Who could match the yellow flash? Tobirama reached him first, aiming a kunai to stab him. Minato grabbed his wrist and slammed his free hand into it, shattering the bones inside. Then pushed him away as Hashirama and Hiruzen both attacked. Hashirama and Hiruzen both began weaving through hand signs, causing Minato to create a Rasengan in his right palm. Deep forest emergence. Hashirama slammed his palms down, causing massive roots to grow around Minato. Dragon fire bullet. Hiruzen breathed out a massive torrent of fire that immediately turned the root prison into a fire pit. That attack could kill most. Luckily for Minato, he could teleport. Minato landed near Tobirama, because in their brief exchange he'd left a Hiration mark on his back. Then Minato slammed the Rasengan in his hand into Tobirama's back, obliterating his upper half. Just when Minato was about to seal him, he had to dodge a large slab of rock that Hashirama had thrown. Minato smirked, then cut into his thumbs. Using the BLD, he drew a complex seal on both of his palms. Then hurled a tri-bladed kunai between the third and first Hokages. Just as it passed them, Minato teleported and faster than anyone could react, he slammed his palms into their foreheads. Fuinjutsu. Adamantine chain seal. Chains sprung from their bodies and wrapped them up, then bolted them to the ground. Minato silently thanked his wife for allowing him to study her chains. Orochimaru paused and considered leaving while he could, only for Minato to kick the back of his leg and bring him to his knees. Tobirama was still reforming and couldn't help him. Minato pressed a blade to Orochimaru's throat. "If you want to live, I suggest you release them." Orochimaru cursed but did so, the Hokages turning to ash. "Now release me. Filet. You go now, you'll be plotting revenge." Then Minato slit his throat with so much force it nearly took the snake Sannin's head off. As Orochimaru lay there bleeding to death, a small white snake slithered into the ground. Minato sealed Orochimaru's body in a scroll and vanished. Normally he'd help Kara more, but he wanted them to finish the Chunin exams. Naruto picked up Kara and pulled Sasuke to his feet. "Let's find somewhere to rest." No doubt the chakra this fight used up scared the other teams away from here. Sasuke nodded. "Yeah. Hey, I know you're mad at your dad and everything, but he's strong as hell. He took on 3 Kages and killed Orochimaru of the Sannin. We kinda owe him one." Naruto brushed it off. "He wasn't saving us. He was saving Kara." Eventually they found a hollowed-out tree and laid Kara under it. "Naruto, that power you used, was that the sage's cloak?" Sasuke asked. Naruto nodded. "I think so. I haven't figured out how to use it over my whole body though. The power it gave you is tremendous. I think with it you could truly be unstoppable." Sasuke sat next to Kara and placed a wet t-shirt on her head. Naruto shrugged. "I was given these abilities for a reason." "What reason?" Sasuke asked, eyeing the blonde. Naruto leaned back and breathed out heavily. "To protect the earth. That's all I was told. Hell, the old man didn't even say what powers I'd get, besides the sage's cloak. Never mentioned these orbs. For all I know I could have any number of powers." Chapter 31. Minato stared into Itachi's eyes. "I've got a top-secret mission for you. Triple S-class secrets will be a part of this mission." Itachi nodded. "Why me?" "Because you are almost as powerful as me. You might even be on par with me. The mission is to track down a certain man and kill him." Minato handed Itachi a folder. "Here's the information on the target. Memorize it with your Sharingan and burn it." Itachi nodded and began reading. Name, unknown. Alias, Toby. Possesses Sharingan. Can go intangible and teleport. Black spiky hair. Spiral mask with a single hole. Then Itachi looked at the picture, seeing a man with a spiral mask and a hole in it. "You don't have a picture of his face." Minato shook his head. "Also he's very skilled with fire and wind jutsu. He was last seen in Iron Country, but with his teleportation he could be anywhere." Itachi nodded and stood. "Shall I go now?" Minato nodded. "I want this man dead. Do not try to apprehend him." Naruto opened his eyes, sensing something nearby. He sat up, eyeing the tree line. Then he spoke. "Sasuke, stay in here and guard Kara. I'll take care of them. They're barely Chunin level." Sasuke nodded, placing a hand on the sword he'd stolen from Orochimaru after he was defeated by Minato. Naruto exited their cover to see 2 men and a girl walk out of the bushes with sound headbands. "Give us Sasuke, Uchiha, we want to fight him." The one who looked like he stole Kakashi's haircut yelled. Naruto scoffed. "Yeah, I think not." He aimed his palms at Naruto. "Fine. I'll just blow you away." Slicing sound wave. A blast of compressed air rocketed from his palms. Naruto made no effort to dodge, allowing the black orbs to turn into a shield in front of him. The black hit the shield and didn't even scratch the strange material. Then Naruto moved at his top speed, punching him in the stomach faster than he could even see. The girl hurled a Sunban, but Naruto used his Kaze no Yari to hurl a wind spear at her. The remaining man used his metal gauntlet to block the wind spear, but at great cost. It cut cleanly through his gauntlet and arm. Itachi blended into the crowd of a city in Iron Country, easily becoming inconspicuous. Itachi was almost as powerful as Minato when he was nearly blind, and now that he can see, he's on par with the yellow flash, though Minato could still win because he's faster and Itachi has a virus that's slowly killing him. The virus is very deadly and is directly affected by how much chakra he's using. Itachi knew of this debilitating weakness but still remained a ninja, using chakra every day. He knew it'd kill him, but he'd die on his terms. Itachi's eyes flipped to Sharingan as he felt a chakra level beyond what most shinobi had. He quickly found the person a couple 100 feet away. The person was tall with gray hair, red eyes, a red scythe, and a black cloak with red clouds. The man jumped high into the air, gripping his scythe in an overhead swing towards Itachi. In the name of Jashin. Itachi cursed, then pushed the civilians away and dodged in an impressive maneuver, then fired a fireball into the sky that got the civilians to flee in terror. Pain said you were good, but holy. Anyway, I'm here to kill you. The man shouldered the scythe. Itachi smirked. Do you kiss your mother with that mouth? Even after I stabbed her to death. Then he charged again, but thanks to Itachi's Sharingan he may as well have been moving in slow motion. Itachi pulled his short umbu sword and deflected the scythe and stabbed the man in the chest. Never rush a superior opponent. The man laughed loudly. I didn't. He swung the scythe again, making Itachi jump back in surprise. Itachi noted that his shirt had a clean cut on the chest, but it hadn't broken his skin. I stabbed you in the heart. How are you not dead? Thanks to the powers of Jashin, I'm immortal. The man yelled, pulling Itachi's sword from his chest. Itachi shrugged. He was stronger than this opponent, he'd just obliterate the body. Chapter End. Chapter 32. The man grinned at Itachi, gripping his scythe with his right hand. Itachi looked around, scanning the area with his Sharingan. What's your name? Why does it matter? The man grunted. His stab wound completely gone now. Itachi shrugged. I'd like to know the name of the man I'm about to kill. Haiden. I should warn you. Stronger men than you have tried. Itachi's eyes went from Sharingan to Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan instantly. I doubt that. They both shot forward, leaping at the same time, then clashed mid-air with so much force that wind kicked up around them. You have impressive physical prowess? Itachi remarked. So did your mother. Haiden cackled. Itachi's red eyes began to glow and a dark red aura of chakra surrounded him, followed by a giant specter all-monster with an orange blade of pure energy in its hand. If you want to survive, get down on your knees now. I'm not your mother last night. Haiden was then swatted away with the blade like he were an insect. The blow sent Haiden's body hurling through the air and into a building, caving in a wall. Haiden stood moments later, cuts and bruises disappearing in seconds. That hurt like a beach. Here I come, thought. Itachi cursed. No matter how many fatal wounds he landed, the man could just keep coming. Haiden laughed maniacally and began swinging his scythe even faster. Your stamina is incredible. Itachi started, but Haiden interrupted. So was your mother's? Haiden laughed, taking a brutal kick to the chest from Itachi. Itachi glared. You've got so much wasted potential. Your speed, strength, and stamina are extremely honed. Your durability and regeneration behave like a Kikei Genkai, and you are very talented with that weapon. You could have been a truly incredible shinobi, too bad you're so stupid. Haiden stood, craning his neck. Wanna know something funny? There is no FNG way Jashin would let me die. His canines elongated and his fingernails grew too. Now I'll show you what I can really do. Haiden shot towards Itachi almost twice as fast as before and threw a punch. The punch carried such force that when Itachi summoned Susanoo, the punch damaged it. Itachi let him get close and brought the sword of his Susanoo down on Haiden, absorbing him into the ethereal blade. Congratulations on making it through the forest. Now I will explain what's next. Minato Namikaze stood in front of the teams that passed the second part. In 1 month you will be put into one-on-one fights with each other in a tournament-style matchup. The winner will get more chances to make Chunin, but if you impress the judges you can be made Chunin even if you lose the first fight. The fights have been chosen at random and will be read aloud by me now. Gaara of the Sand vs Shikamaru Nara, Kabuto vs Naomi Namikaze, Rock Lee vs Kara Namikaze, Naruto Namikaze vs Sasuke Uchiha, Hinata Hyuga vs Neji Hyuga, Temari of the Sand vs Kankuro of the Sand. Train well and may you all have luck in your matches. Naruto bumped fists with Sasuke. Wanna bet on our fight? Sasuke shrugged. Alright, what's the bet? Loser has to wear an ugly orange jumpsuit for a week. Naruto grinned. Sasuke's eyebrow raised. That's oddly specific. Did it just come to you? Naruto nodded. Yeah, I just have this perfect image of the ugliest jumpsuit ever. Chapter End. Chapter 33. A man stood in front of several dozen kneeling men and women. He was tall, with long white hair, muscular, pale, and had BLD red Rinnegan eyes. He wore black breeches and boots, with seals over his torso, red over his left side and blue over his right that went down his arms and ended at his wrists. He stood in front of a dozen men and women, each of whom had a set of fuinjutsu over one side of their bodies, alternating between red and blue. I have given you all power. Each of you possesses a weakened half of the deal I wear, giving you the powers of a demigod. As a god, I have nearly limitless power, and you are all now greater than you were. What are you? One of them asked as he stood, his seal glowing with bright red energy. Talion grinned. The Sage of Karma. Oldest of the Moon Clan, or you may know us as the Otsutsuki clan. Sasuke cursed in pain, placing a hand over his left eye. My brother has already chosen his champion. I believe it's high time I chose mine. Do you accept the powers and responsibility of the Sage of Six Paths? An elderly man with horns stood in front of Sasuke, holding a sword in his hand, offering it to Sasuke. Sasuke looked at the blade, feeling ancient power humming inside it. What is it? The second part of the powers I'm giving you. Known simply as the Infinity Blade, it grants the user an endless supply of natural energy and control over all elements. Coupled with the Rinnegan, you will have power equal to your friend, but like him, you must learn to use it. The man handed the sword to Sasuke and marveled at its beauty one more time. The Infinity Blade had a white silvery blade that glinted in the light, a curved tip even though the blade was straight and 2 inches wide, with several extreme-level fuinjutsu etched into the blade. The handle was an appealing blend of metal that seemed inviting to the touch, almost disappointing that the sheath was plain black. Thanks, Sage, sir. Sasuke bowed lowly. The old man scoffed. At least the one I chose had manners. Then he faded from view, leaving Sasuke with the blade in his hand and standing beside Naruto and Kara. Sasuke. Naruto waved his palm in front of Sasuke, getting him to jump slightly. Yet he asked, still dazed. Naruto laughed. You've been staring at the wall for like 20 minutes? Sasuke looked at the blade in his hand. I think I just met the Sage of Six Paths. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Like when I was a kid. Sasuke nodded. I think so. He gave me the dash. What the hell happened to your eye? Kara yelled loudly. Indeed, Sasuke's eye had a ripple pattern similar to the Rinnegan but with the Sharingan tomos in it. The old man said he gave me the Rinnegan. I guess he did. Then Sasuke activated his Sharingan. Its perception is better than my Sharingan eye. The Rinnegan didn't move or even glow, but it still looked powerful. Wonder what powers it has. Then Sasuke vanished in an instant, appearing behind Naruto. I guess teleportation is one of them, Sasuke said, surprising Naruto. Naruto's mouth opened wide. Why can't I do that? Sasuke shrugged. Guess I'm cooler. Whatever. I was charged with protecting the earth. Naruto crossed his arms and squinted at Sasuke. Apparently you need help. Sasuke smirked, hand resting on the Infinity Blade. Naruto smirked. How about this? When the Chunin exam gets here, we bet on who wins. Beat me and I'll accept your help. What are you talking about? We are basically equal if you don't use the cloak, Sasuke replied. I won't be holding back. And you shouldn't either. Naruto held out his fist for Sasuke to bump it. Sasuke did so and smirked cockily. Train hard and get strong then. I don't want an easy victory. Me either, Naruto replied. I think you boys are forgetting that there are other participants who could beat you, Kara interrupted. Sasuke scoffed cockily. Not likely. We are around Jonin level at this point. With my new powers and Naruto's cloak, we are probably stronger. Chapter End. Chapter 34. Citizens of Konoha. Welcome to this year's Chunin exams. Minato yelled proudly. The crowd cheered loudly and the contestants behind Minato tried to look confident under the gaze of the audience. Naruto grinned slightly. 5 orbs now orbited his body. He wore black metallic arm guards over his forearms and black fingerless gloves. Sasuke wore a beanie that held his black hair back, and the infinity sword hung at his left side. His Rinnegan eye was peering at the crowd and their chakras. Kara had a staff on her back with a blade on one end. Naomi looked the same but had her Hiraishin kunai at her sides. Hinata was missing her hoodie and had arm guards similar to Naruto, only lighter in color. Everyone else looked much the same. First match, Gaara versus Shikamaru. Minato called out. Pass. At my level that would be too much of a drag, Shikamaru said boredly. Minato's eye twitched. Winner by forfeit, Gaara. Next up, Rock Lee versus Naomi Namikaze. Everyone left the arena but them, and Rock Lee grinned. Let this be a very youthful fight. Naomi smiled slightly and raised her right fist to eye level with her elbow bent out and parallel to the ground, left foot bent so that her toes were the only part of her left foot touching the ground. This was the same style as her father, hummingbird style. Rock Lee dropped into the iron fist stance. Begin, Minato commanded. Instantly Rock Lee charged, trying to punch her. Naomi easily swatted the fist away and pushed him back in an instant, fluid motion. Lee, take him off. I know you're tougher than that. My style relies on my speed. If you want to stand a chance, you gotta use everything. Lee nodded and removed his weights, setting them gently on the ground. Naomi pulled her Hiraishin kunai and held one in each hand. Lee moved again, only this time. He vanished. Naomi shot forward at a similar speed. They met in the middle, dodging and parrying each other's attacks. Naomi jumped back and hurled her Hiraishin kunai. Shadow Clone Kunai Jutsu. The one kunai became 100 and all flew towards Lee. Grinned and crouched, then moved at a much higher pace than a few seconds ago. He appeared under Naomi and kicked her in the chin. When her feet left the ground, Lee jumped after her. The bandages on his arms unraveled and tightened themselves around Naomi. Then Lee began spinning them towards the ground so fast they became a blur of motion. The impact was huge, creating a 10-foot crater and dust cloud. When the dust cleared, only Lee could be seen in the rubble. Naomi was sitting beside her Hiraishin kunai, looking dizzy but unhurt. She'd teleported at the last second. Lee sat up and tried to stand, only to fall back weakly. I can't continue, Lee said disappointedly as Naomi walked over and helped him up. Winner by SBMson, Naomi Namikaze. Minato called out. Next up, Naruto Namikaze versus Sasuke Uchiha. Naruto leaped into the arena and landed gracefully. Sasuke smirked and teleported, making Minato's eyes widen. He's got a teleportation jutsu? He asked himself, then shook the thought from his mind. Begin. Sasuke pulled the infinity blade while Naruto's orbs orbited him erratically. Wanna know something funny? Sasuke asked suddenly. Naruto shrugged. What? After today, everything changes? Sasuke then teleported, appearing behind Naruto with a downward swing. Naruto dodged and the black orbs wrapped around Sasuke's limbs and held him in position. Naruto walked forward looking bored. Is this all you've got? Sasuke smirked and whispered. Almighty push. A blast of gravity smacked Naruto into the arena wall, over 100 yards away. The black orbs left Sasuke and softened Naruto's landing. What the hell was that? Naruto yelled. Gravity release. Comes with the eye. Sasuke pointed his infinity sword at Naruto, letting out a bolt of lightning. Naruto's orbs deflected the electric attack and Sasuke smirked. Guess I'll need to go all out? Sasuke gripped his sword with both hands and closed his eyes. Black triangles went from his eyes to the bottom of his cheeks. And when he opened his eyes were glowing purple with larger pupils. With all this natural energy, it'd be a shame to waste it, huh? Naruto nodded, grinning slightly as his eyes became slitted and started glowing orange. His orbs also glowed. Finally, Naruto's right hand gained the sage's cloak, though random parts of his body lit up with it momentarily as well. The only part that didn't change every couple seconds was his right hand. Time for a real fight. They both shot forward so fast that the sound barrier broke and deafened the crowd. Chapter End. Chapter 35. Naruto and Sasuke grinned at each other, anticipating this fight, when all of a sudden people in the audience began to fall asleep. Naruto looked at them. Sasuke, wait, do you feel that? It's Genjutsu, over the stadium. Sasuke nodded. I can't feel it but I can see it. Then all hell broke loose. Gaara released his inner demon, Sand and Sound Ninja began attacking, and explosions were heard across the village. Naruto sensed large summons wreaking havoc at the gates. Sheet. Sasuke, head to the walls of the village and deal with those threats. I'll take on Shikaku. Why do you get to fight the one-tailed demon? Sasuke asked, annoyed. Because you're faster than me, you can get there in time to stop more deaths, no go? Naruto leaped from the stadium floor to the Kage seats. Hokage-sama. I'll take the one-tails, you're better suited to take out enemy ninja. Then he jumped towards Shikaku before Minato could argue. Naruto landed on the tip of Shikaku's nose and yelled, making Shikaku cross his eyes to see him. Hey Gaara. Wake your butt up. Shikaku tried to swat him away but Naruto jumped straight up. Shikaku was blasting buildings apart with large wind attacks and Naruto narrowed his eyes. I won't let you hurt my friends. He raised his right hand above his head and willed 3 of his orbs to fuse just above it, making it bright orange and very warm. Naruto aimed towards Shikaku and yelled once more. Stop it, Shikaku. I can't guarantee your container survives this attack. In response, Shikaku fired an air blast. So be it. Heaven's wrath. The orb exploded in Shikaku's direction, like a mighty beam. It cut right through Shikaku and blew the ground under him apart for several hundreds of yards. The blast used up Naruto's reserves and left him barely able to move, relying on his orbs to float him to the ground safely. As Naruto looked into the scorched crater, he saw there wasn't even a body left from Gaara. His stomach heaved at the thought of his first kill, and he stumbled when he touched the ground. Naruto's vision blackened and he was close to fainting when he saw a group of ninja around him preparing to attack, followed by a flash of red. Sasuke grunted at the sight before him. Several boss-level summons being ridden by Jonin were tearing the village apart. Leaf Nin were trying to fight but there were very few successful Leaf Nin. In fact, the only ones strong enough to fight and weren't on mission were Might Guy, Asuma Sarutobi, Kakashi Hatake, Kurenai Yuhi, Zabuza, and Minato Namikaze. Sasuke glared at the snakes and was suddenly almost blinded by a bright orange/yellow beam of intense light. Show off, Sasuke whispered, annoyed. He swung the infinity blade towards an approaching snake, lighting it on fire and carving a red-hot line through its head. Then he used gravity to stop a building from crushing civilians. Move, damn it! He yelled, straining against the weight. The frightened civilians moved and Sasuke let the building drop gently. Interesting powers you've got there. Sasuke turned at the sound of the voice to see a man with pale skin, BLD red eyes, and short black hair that laid smoothly down to his eyebrows. He had red markings starting at his left eye and stretching down his left side and down his arm. Sasuke was perturbed by the flow of the man's chakra. It was erratic, almost like an adrenaline-fueled heartbeat. Who are you? The man smiled a fake smile that showed a set of fangs. My name is Sai. I used to have a MSTR here. But now I've got a father, and he's insisted that I meet you today. Sasuke was ready for the lightning-fast sword swing, blocking it with the infinity blade. With his Rinnegan eye he could see the insane speed Sai possessed, and with a little chakra he matched the speed, watching everything around them happen in slow motion. Sasuke glared into the man's eyes, just as a black and red energy construct grew from his shoulder and swatted Sasuke like a bug, sending him skidding. I've got powers you wouldn't believe, Sasuke-kun, and I could give you similar abilities if you accept the Karma Seal. Sai stalked forward, like a predator approaching its prey. Sasuke slapped the ground, making a slab of rock fly towards Sai. The black and red energy deflected the earth and more tendrils spread from his back. The hell are you? Sasuke asked, annoyed. The man grinned as the power coated his left arm and part of his face. Sasuke breathed out, focusing solely on his chakra. Mixing lightning, fire and wind chakra was extremely difficult. Sasuke's blade was coated in a purple aura like fire. Sai laughed at the sight. That ability had an ominous feel to it. Wanna see true power? The red substance surrounded his body. Bones protruded from him at joints, ribs, spine, bone claws, a tail that continued from the spine, and all of his teeth sharpened. The creature's Sai had turned into looked like a demon, and it roared like a monster. The beast shot forward so fast that it flickered from view. Sasuke pushed Sai away with the almighty push, but instead of being flung away it dug its feet into the ground and was only pushed back a few feet. Sasuke teleported to dodge a powerful downward swing of both fists, then used his sword to slice open Sai's back. Sai roared in pain but recovered quickly, watching the sword more closely now. Sasuke made a fist, lifting Sai into the air. Got you? Sai responded by firing a beam of bright red condensed energy from his mouth directly at Sasuke. Sasuke barely reacted in time, bringing up his hands to catch and absorb it. The impact made him slide back, but Sasuke breathed in relief as the blast was pulled into him, boosting his chakra pools. Sai fell to the ground as the gravity chakra holding him up receded. Then a yellow flash in front of it knocked it back. When Sasuke saw it again, he noted a small piece of paper on Sai's forehead and glowing chains wrapping around him and stapling him to the ground. Sai roared in defiance as Minato appeared next to Sasuke. Sasuke Uchiha, I'm giving you a field promotion to Chunin and I'm charging you with finding as many civilians as possible and getting them to safety with that teleport power of yours. Sasuke nodded at the orders and vanished a moment later. Minato did the same, killing as many sound and Sannin as he could in a bloody orchestra of death. He was the yellow flash after all. The Butcher of Rock. Naruto opened his eyes to see his sister in front of him with kunai protruding from several spots on her body. Naruto's eyes widened. Naomi, no. He tried to stand but fell back weakly. But why would you do this? You dash because I love you, big B brother. You act like a big dummy. Just like Dad. Why you're both too stubborn. I'd do anything for you. And if that means dying for you now, then I dash. I'm okay with that. She fell to her knees as the BLD loss started to get to her. Naruto shakily stood and shuffled to her. The wounds were deep, too deep to heal by normal means, but his chakra could heal if he wanted it to. Kurama had told him so. Nemi, I'm gonna help you, hold still. Just as his hands lit up with the yellow chakra to heal her, a kunai pierced her skull, killing her instantly. As touching as that was, I got shit to do. A Sannin laughed. Naruto laid his sister down gently, tears welling in his eyes. Aowek. Rayawayawag. Naruto roared with so much power that the ground trembled, as if the earth were scared of him. His body lit up with yellow and orange flames. Markings appeared in the flames. The air became so dense with his power that the ground broke apart and wind blew dust clouds in all directions. Naruto's fists were clenched so tightly that BLD seeped between his knuckles. The Nin that killed Naomi was paralyzed with fear at the show of rage-filled power in front of him. Naruto slammed his fists into the ground, sending cracks along the ground and shifting the earth. Then he glared up at the man and whispered, "You killed my sister. I'll kill you." Chapter 36. Minato stood atop the Hokage monument, staring down at Naruto as he released fury and power that could shake even his own resolve. Minato had tears in his eyes and his heart broke at seeing his daughter, untouched by Naruto's powerful chakra. We were so wrong. Naruto was the one from the prophecy. We tried to save the world and we may have just destroyed it faster. He fell to his knees, filled with emotions. Anger at his teacher, despair for his children, regretful of his decisions, anger at himself. The list went on. Minato saw his son fighting for not just his life, but for his village, his comrades, and his loved ones. Pride welled in Minato's chest and he hurled a kunai past his son and into the chest of an enemy Nin, then teleported with a Rasengan in hand to his kunai. He ripped the kunai from the man's chest and pushed the Rasengan into the wound, killing him and hurling him through a group of oncoming enemies. Minato looked to his surprised son. Naruto. I know I'm not the best father, but I can't give you some excuse to make it better, but today I want to fight by your side, please allow me that. I know I may never be able to make it up to you, but let me have this at least. Minato begged. Naruto grunted. It doesn't change anything, you know. Minato nodded, sadly. I understand, let's put this battle to an end. Naruto stalked forward, wind pushing things away from him. Then they shot forward so quickly they vanished. Rows of enemy nin were killed almost instantaneously, slices from a blade and full holes littered the nin. Body parts flew through the air and the ground was coated in BLD. Minato had a blade in each hand and he was slicing them to pieces, BLD littering his clothes. Naruto was using pure taijutsu, except for his truth-seeking orbs which were shooting out and obliterating enemies at longer distances. Sasuke walked closer to Sai as his red energy receded into his red karma seal. Why was the leaf attacked? Sai smiled oddly. Because father thought it would be fun. Even without the snake Sannin to lead the charge, a significant amount of damage was done. Besides, it also gave us the opportunity to study your village's power. Sasuke glared down at him. You aren't scared of dying? It wasn't a question, but a statement. Sai shook his head, chuckling slightly. Not in the slightest. Good. Sasuke drove his glowing purple blade through Sai's heart. People of Konoha. We have survived an attack on the village and we have been victorious. Minato stood atop the Kage building as he addressed his people. We beat back the enemy at the cost of many sacrifices. My youngest daughter being one of them. Today the rest of us are alive because of our bravery, honor, skill, and determination. Among our heroes were a few genin I will be promoting as of this moment. Hinata Hyuga, for your courage, effectiveness, and skill with your abilities, I promote you to Chunin. Sasuke Uchiha, for your combat skill, bravery against a more powerful opponent, and resourcefulness I promote you to Chunin. Finally, Naruto Namikaze, for your cunning mind, skill, raw power, and sheer determination. I promote you to Jonin. I would like you three to come by my office to receive your flak jackets. Then he vanished in a flash of yellow light. Naruto was stunned, no one had ever skipped the Chunin rank altogether. So he, Sasuke, and Hinata all headed towards the Kage Tower at a leisurely pace. Hinata squeezed Naruto's hand. She'd spent the battle at the academy defending the young students from enemy attacks. Are you okay, Naruto? Naruto nodded. Yeah, Hina-chan. Just overwhelmed. I felt your chakra spike all the way from the academy. It was so powerful and bright. Almost like the sun. What happened? Hinata asked, stroking her thumb across his hand. Naruto sighed shakily. Naomi, she died protecting me. I went berserk. She nodded sadly, thinking of something to say. Sasuke interrupted. Naomi died. How long ago? He sounded almost urgent. Few hours ago at most. What? Naruto asked. Sasuke pointed to his eye. One of the powers this eye gives me. I can bring people back to life within a certain time of their death if I can get a hold of their corpse. But it'll be cutting it close. I've only ever done animals and the longest time was 3 hours and 14 minutes after death. Naruto's eyes widened and he grabbed Sasuke's wrist. Take us to the morgue. Focused, and all three of them winked out of existence. When they appeared in the morgue, papers blew everywhere and the floor had burn marks under their feet. DMN, it's confusing to teleport 3 people? No time for that. Let's go. Naruto half-dragged Sasuke down the hall, knowing where his sister was about to be cremated. Chapter 37. Sasuke stood over Naomi, green energy pouring from his hands and his Rinnegan eye glowing. It'd be a lot easier with 2 Rinnegan and a fresher body, but he had to make do. Minato appeared in a flash of yellow with Kushina in tow. Naruto barely cast a glance at them, focusing solely on his sister. Hinata was hugging him from behind, stroking his chest. I wondered where you 3 were. Ibiki told me you guys ran past him in the halls. Now I see why. Can he do it? Minato asked Naruto, pointing at Sasuke, who had started to sweat and breathe heavily. Naruto didn't look at his father, but he did reply. There's a slim chance. Her body has been sitting for a while, we are hoping it hasn't been too long. Minato nodded in understanding. Then Naruto felt Sasuke's chakra begin to dip lower than normal. Sheet. Sasuke, use my chakra. P, put your hand on my back. I'll do the rest. Naruto did so, and a yellow fiery light spilled from his arm and hand and flowed into Sasuke, who stopped breathing heavily. Thanks. Sasuke whispered, relieved slightly. Itachi was kneeling in front of a man with long white hair. What's wrong? With me. The white-haired man grinned. The BLD of one of my children got in your bloodstream somehow. Your bloodline is mutating. Itachi groaned in pain. The virus in his chest felt like it was fighting this new intruding pathogen inside his body. The man knelt to eye level. The eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Interesting. I've got a better idea than allowing you to turn. You see, this isn't my body. The prison I am trapped in was too strong for me to simply leave, so I squeezed my soul through the keyhole essentially. I'm possessing this man at the moment. Doing so changed him into a demigod, and even when I leave his body he will remain one. Your body is much stronger than his, so... He gripped the sides of Itachi's head and a red smoke shot from his mouth and into Itachi. Then Itachi stood, smirking at the white-haired man who seemed thankful to him. Red and blue seals appeared on his skin as the ones on the other man's body darkened and the red ones disappeared. Rise, child. I have a mission for you. Naomi's eyes fluttered open and Kushina gripped her in a tight hug, crying heavily. Naruto smiled slightly as he helped Sasuke stand. Thanks, Sasuke, I really owe you one. Sasuke grunted and shook his head. You're my best friend, I'd do anything for you. I owe you. Minato bowed until his head touched the floor. Name anything in the village and I'll try to get it for you or do it for you. Sasuke nodded. Just make sure me and the knucklehead here stay on the same team. Don't need or want anything else really. Minato nodded. I've seen the way you two work together, I'd never break that up. Sasuke then asked. Have you seen my brother by the way? Minato nodded at that. Yes, I sent him on an urgent mission. He should be back later this month. Naruto sat beside Naomi and smiled, tears in his eyes. You aren't allowed to ever do that again, damn it. She smiled back. Next time don't pass out on a battlefield, dummy. I used a move that killed a dangerous enemy. It took a lot of chakra, but I took out a serious threat, a bijou. Naruto explained. Raisin looked in the mirror at his reflection. Give it up, Itachi. With me in here you'll never break my grip. Itachi glared from the mirror. Maybe not today, but I will kill you. You won't use my body to kill my loved ones. This made Raisin smile. You haven't got a choice, Uchiha. Hours later, Naruto slipped the flak jacket for Jonin rank onto his shoulders and zipped it halfway up. Honestly, this is kinda cool, right, Sasuke? Sasuke nodded, smirking as he did his own jacket, zipping his up all the way. Naruto smirked. How's my sister, by the way? You shouldn't ask about your sister's SEC life. Sasuke replied casually, joking to upset his friend. Why you're having AC with my sister? Naruto practically yelled with red cheeks. Sasuke scoffed. I don't know what you're talking about. Chapter end. Chapter 38. Raisin grinned. He just arrived at a strange-looking place. In a canyon with no signs of life was a large hollow golden ring standing on its edge, being held up by what looked to be golden statues of the Sage of Six Paths and his brother. The ring was almost 100 feet tall and the air shimmered strangely around it. Don't worry, brothers. I'll get you out as soon as I have the keys. Raisin chuckled as he felt Itachi's consciousness stir within him. Minato kicked in Jiraiya's door with such force that it was left in splinters. Jiraiya! He yelled angrily, waking the sleeping pervert. What are you doing here? Why aren't you in the villa? Minato grabbed his face and used his Hiraishin to teleport them to the kunai in his office. Now we're both in the village. Minato was glaring at Jiraiya, anger almost seeping through him. Jiraiya stood. What's the deal with the rude wake-up? I was gonna go to the hot springs later. Minato clenched his fists. We were wrong. Kara isn't the chosen one. Jiraiya looked confused. Impossible, it has to be one of your children. Are you saying it's now? It's Naruto? Minato declared, itching to take the Toad Sanin's head off. How do you know? Jiraiya was stunned beyond belief. Minato leaned against his desk. Yesterday I saw him unleash chakra that was only his and it rivaled the QB in raw power. He's got a sage's cloak, he had powers that defy basic ninjutsu laws, and Naomi's temporary death triggered something powerful in him, something I doubt I could fight off. The power he wielded. It was unimaginable. I could feel his powers were still being restrained, probably so he didn't tear his body apart with them. He and Sasuke are in a league all their own. Sasuke? The little Uchiha brat. How powerful is he? Jiraiya asked. It's difficult to say. He's got more abilities than Naruto but far less chakra. Their potential is practically limitless. Minato crossed his arms. When you first told me of the prophecy, I thought we'd been doing the right thing. But I see now how wrong we were. Naruto will either save or destroy this world, and I think we might have tipped the scales closer towards the latter. Then he glared. I'm as much to blame for the way we treated Naruto, but it'll be a long while before I forgive you. Sasuke and Naruto squared off in a clearing a few miles from the village. Sure you want to do this, Naruto? I got a few tricks up my sleeve you still don't know about. Naruto nodded. We never got to have our fight. I won't accept your help if you can't give me a good fight. Sasuke smirked as his Rinnegan eye began to glow and his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan began to spin wildly. Fine by me. Naruto shot forward aiming a fist at Sasuke's face, only to have it caught. The wind from the impact blew the grass in the field back and Sasuke hurled Naruto back with gravity. Use your cloak. With these eyes I'm too powerful for you without it. Naruto chuckled and nodded, instantly surrounded by the gold chakra. You asked for it. Kaze no Yari. He swiped his arm in a diagonal arc towards Sasuke, releasing a white thin slash that cut a crevice in the ground and sped towards Sasuke. Sasuke arced his infinity blade and matched the wind attack perfectly, canceling them out. In an elemental fight you know I'll win. Then he teleported forward, going for a side strike. Naruto's orbs fused together and became a pitch-black katana with no guard. He held it in a reverse grip as he blocked the swing. Demon, it's hard to keep up with your teleportation. Hard but not impossible. He smirked as Sasuke vanished and reappeared directly behind him in the middle of an overhead strike. Naruto sidestepped to the right and threw his left fist back into Sasuke's cheek. This sent Sasuke stumbling and Sasuke pushed his palms behind him and used gravity to stop his momentum. Time to step things up. Shadow Clone Jutsu. 6 Sasukes appeared around the original and surrounded Naruto. Susanu's appearing around all of them except the original. You see, all of my Rinnegan are linked, meaning I can see through the other's eyes. Coupled with the perception of my Sharingan, I've got better vision than even the Byakugan. The Susanus spawned energy sabers and the original Sasuke suddenly gained glowing purple ethereal armor that resembled that of a knight with glowing wings. Only the purple armor glowed much brighter than the Susanus. Also, when I compress the Susanu like this, its defensive capabilities increase exponentially, though I do take a hit on how much attack it can deal. No more talking. You're pissing me off. Naruto shot forward so fast the ground shattered and he reared his fist back. Sasuke met him in the middle. Chapter 39. Sasuke opened his eyes, finding himself in a strange, desolate place. Wake up, Sasuke. A deep, elderly voice spoke. Sasuke stood quickly to see none other than the Sage of Six Paths, Okatsuki-sama. It's good to see you again. Where are we? Sasuke felt strangely foggy and low on chakra. The sage sighed and looked away. You're more like me than you realize. A decision is set at your feet, Sasuke. I have used my divine power to peek into the future and see how your battle ends. Naruto betrays his duty and releases the immortals my brother and I fought to cage. It was blurry, but it was him that rips the cage door open to free those monsters. You must not allow this to happen. If he decides to open it, you will have to kill him. Sasuke stepped back in shock. Are you insane? I can't kill him. The sage sighed, looking weary. I know. This is a repeat of history. I wasn't able to kill my brother either. I must show you the carnage Naruto will bring if left unchecked. Then he poked Sasuke's forehead, much like Itachi likes to do, only it made Sasuke's vision swim and transported him to what looked like Konoha at night, only the buildings were taller and the air had an eerie feel to it. Sasuke began making his way home when a hand gripped his shoulder and yanked him into an alley. Suddenly, Sasuke was face to face with a Sharingan. A girl around his age held a blade to his neck and glared hard, then stepped back. "You don't have any seals on you. Good, come with me. I'll get you something to eat. My name is Sarada Uchiha." Sasuke nodded, following behind her. "Sasuke Uchiha. Mind telling me where we're going?" She glanced back and stopped. "We have 3 more hours till sunrise. I felt your chakra and decided to investigate. You can't be out at night, you should know this." Sasuke stopped when he saw the town square. People were in chains and looked to be starving in front of a man with BLD red eyes. Sasuke's body tensed as he began walking toward them, drawing his sword slowly. "No, you idiot." Sarada gripped his arm tightly and began pulling. "That's Shikamaru Nara, an elite. We'd get killed if we fought him." Sasuke activated his Sharingan and began looking Shikamaru over. He looked around 17 with an athletic frame and the same black hair in a ponytail. He had BLD red eyes surrounded by black, his skin was pale, and on his back was a black short sword. The strangest thing was the red seals on his left side. "What are you talking about?" "Shikamaru is harmless, a genius, but harmless." Sasuke ripped his arm from her grasp. She looked at Sasuke in shock. "Those eyes. Only one person ever had those eyes." Tears welled in her eyes as she hugged Sasuke, breathing in his scent. What are you doing?" Sasuke stammered. She pushed back a little. "You're from the past, right? My name is Sarada Uchiha, daughter of Sasuke Uchiha and Kara Namikaze." Sasuke was bewildered as she said this. She had black hair and eyes, but she had the same facial features as Kara. This is impossible," Sasuke whispered. Sarada grinned. "Wait till Daisuke sees you." "Boo." Sarada laughed quietly. "My big brother, leader of the human resistance. Who said you could leave Uchiha?" Shikamaru landed in front of them. Even from the height he dropped, he still didn't make a sound. Shikamaru smirked. "Kid, you look a little like a classmate I had over 20 years ago. He was always a drag. Are you two gonna come quietly or do I need to kill you?" Sasuke pulled his sword and held it in a reverse grip. "You can try, Shikamaru. You know who I am yet are willing to fight. You're either stupid or confident." Shikamaru drew the sword from his back. In a lightning-fast movement, Shikamaru shot forward, aiming to stab Sasuke, but Sasuke blocked in time. "Impressive. I can't remember the last human that was fast enough to block one of my attacks." Shikamaru then kicked Sasuke back and stalked forward. Sasuke coughed as he summoned his condensed Susanoo armor. "You want a fight? I'll give you a fight." "That's enough." A man stepped into the light. He had black hair that fell to his eyes, BLD red irises, muscular body. He looked to be in his late 20s. He wore all black clothing and held no weapons. His seal covered his entire body, with the ones on his left side being red and the right side being blue. "Raisin-sama. I was going to bring them in dash, no need Nara. I recognize that he is just a visitor and likely won't be here long. Besides, if I wanted him dead, he'd be dead." The man spoke with an air of authority that demanded respect. Sasuke went to attack them, but faster than he could see, Raisin had planted a fist into his gut and made Sasuke spit BLD. "Careful, child. I've spared your life this once, I will not do so again." Sasuke fell to his knees, clutching his stomach in pain. What the hell are you?" Raisin knelt to eye level and smiled maliciously. "I am the ruler of this planet. Tell the sage I said thank you for letting me know he was truly out of options." Then Sasuke was yanked backwards and he was in front of the sage again, who looked winded. "I was going to let you stay longer and see more, but I'm afraid I couldn't leave you around that creature for long." "Was that real?" Sasuke asked. The sage nodded. "Yes. I don't know why, but Naruto Namikaze releases the Atsuchiki clan from their prison. It's all his fault that humanity suffers the greatest loss it will ever go through. Raisin lets a few become immortal demigods but leaves most human, for live slavery purposes. As you saw, in his real body, Raisin is incredibly powerful. The only way to win is to defeat him while he is possessing someone and throw his soul into the cage. It took him 1,000 years to get through last time, but that may be the best we can do. Sasuke was suddenly aware of someone violently shaking his shoulders. Blinking rapidly, he saw Naruto. Shaking him and forced him to stop. Dude, relax. I'm alright. If you die, can I have your sword? Naruto asked. Sasuke just squinted in response. But please dash. Just no. Sasuke interrupted. Then Sasuke sighed. Naruto, I gotta ask you something. Is there any reason you would intentionally release evil creatures that are tougher than us? Naruto tilted his head. Why would I do that? My powers are meant to protect the earth, not help destroy it. I'll talk to you later, I gotta go somewhere for a while. Sasuke then vanished via teleport. Naruto paused. But you couldn't give me a lift back home. Chapter End. Chapter 40. Naruto yawned as he trekked home, idly noting a faint chakra signature near him, one he was intimately familiar with. Come on out, Hina-chan. You're getting better at suppressing your chakra, but I still feel you. How long could you sense me? She asked quietly, smiling at her boyfriend as she stepped out from behind a tree. About a minute after Sasuke left. I guess you saw my chakra with your Byakugan. Naruto slipped out of his jacket and draped it over her shoulders. She nodded. Wait, you dash. You've been able to sense me for 20 minutes and you let me follow you anyway. It's freezing out here, Naruto. He hugged her, chuckling at her flushed cheeks. I know, Hina, but next time don't try to be sneaky, okay? If I didn't know who you were, I might have attacked without thinking. And I don't think I could ever live without you. She kissed his cheek and smiled warmly at him. Don't underestimate me, Naruto. He nodded as a warm blush crept over his cheeks. I want to try something, by the way. What? I hope you don't mean dash. You know, SESEC. I'm not already. She stammered. Naruto shook his head, becoming a bright red. No. I want to see if other people can use my cloak. Okay, what do I do? She asked, embarrassed at her conclusion. Naruto hugged her at the small of her back, pressing their bodies as close together as possible. Just relax, I'll take care of you. Forever. He whispered the last part, thinking she didn't hear it, but in truth, it set her heart aflutter. The golden energy lit up Naruto's body, followed by the usual markings and bright glow. Hinata relaxed further into his warmth. You're so warm, she whispered. Suddenly Hinata's body took on a slight glow and wind kicked up around them. This feels amazing, Naruto. Is this what you feel every time you use the cloak? Unfortunately, no. It takes on the properties of my current emotions. Normally anger or will to win. Right now it's how I feel about you. Naruto whispered into her ear, his lips brushing her cheek. Then he kissed her softly, the golden light intensifying to where they were barely visible. I love you, Hinata. I love you too, Naruto. Half a mile away, a man with BLD red eyes and white hair watched the scene unfold, using his heightened sense of sight, with a dark smirk on his face. Raisin will be pleased. The next morning Naruto opened his eyes to see the sky. I guess I passed out here. He was on the ground but felt more comfortable than he'd ever felt in his life. He almost sat up when he saw Hinata draped over him. Her head was on his chest, arm around his torso, and she straddled his right leg. She was sleeping so soundly he couldn't bear to wake her. Even though his right foot was cold from lack of BLD flow and beginning to tingle. He began softly brushing her hair away from her cheek and taking in every detail of her soft white skin. When his eyes began to travel, he noted that sometime last night she'd discarded her briefs and hoodie, probably used to sleeping that way. She wore a long black shirt, one of his he noted, and a pair of lavender-colored panties. As he took in the firm, appealing muscles of her legs, she suddenly stirred slightly. Stop poking me, Naru, she whispered sleepily, shifting her body against his, making him turn a brighter red than his mother's hair. He dared not move as he realized exactly what was poking her. When she opened her eye and looked up at him, she yawned. I asked you to quit poking me, I was having a good dream. Then she noted his color and looked down to see what was poking her and just giggled nervously. I'm sorry, I thought dash. It means you think I'm appealing, right? Naruto nodded slowly. Absolutely. Then she smiled nervously and adjusted her body slightly so it could go down his breed's leg, then laid back down on top of it. Then I'm not ashamed of it, Naruto. In fact, it makes me a little happy, knowing I can get this reaction from you. He ran a thumb over her cheek. I'm glad, but I think we should get back to the village before people begin wondering where we are. She nodded and they got up after a few more minutes. Hinata, wait. I just thought of something. My chakra becomes solid if I compress it. I got one more thing I want to try. Let me see your hand. He took her left hand into both of his and closed his eyes. A bright glow flashed from between his palms and Hinata marveled at how warm her hands suddenly felt. When Naruto removed his hands from hers, she saw a small ring made of faintly glowing metallic-looking chakra. It wasn't bright, but it glowed enough to be noticeable if you knew it was there. Now it's my promise of a lifetime to you. We aren't old enough to get married, but I do want you to know you'll always have me. Soon as we're old enough, I'll ask you to marry me for real. He kissed her hand gently as tears leaked from her eyes despite the wide smile she had on her face. They walked back to the village, hand in hand, never noticing the man spying on them. Chapter 41. What do you mean you asked Hinata to marry you? Mom and Dad will freak. Kara practically yelled. Naruto shoved his hands into his pockets as he grunted. It's not like they have the right to. I mean, they only just started not ignoring me. Why should I even tell them? Besides, it's just a promise ring. Naomi punched his arm lightly. You're being a big dummy again, big brother. Where is Hinata anyway? She went home to shower and check in with Hayashi. I'm taking her to dash. A strange feeling of dread overcame Naruto as he felt the ground rumble. Hinata. He took off so quickly that the wind knocked his sister back, his chakra cloak flaring to life and increasing the speed he was moving tenfold. He arrived at the Hyuga compound to see his father there, pulling Hyuga clan members out of the rubble. Naruto. Someone took Hinata. Naruto's eyes widened and his cloak destabilized. Which way? Naruto which way? Naruto's anger began to fuel his cloak, making his power saturate the air. Minato paused at the sheer power he sensed awakening inside Naruto. Fine. It was a white-haired man. He took her east, towards the Valley of the End. Be careful, he's got some telekinetic capabilities and is extremely talented with a sword. Naruto nodded and began to float, then took off at speeds Minato couldn't follow. Sasuke suddenly appeared next to Minato. What's going on? Naruto's chakra was high enough for me to sense from Lightning Country. One of the immortals took Hinata. Naruto is going after them. I want you to absorb my sage chakra. It should teach you to use it and it'll bring your power up substantially. I know that's an ability of the Rinnegan, to instantly know how to use any jutsu you absorb. Minato's eyes turned a pale gold, with red markings over his eyes. Sasuke nodded and they clasped hands. Anything I should know? If you don't simulate it into your chakra perfectly, it could turn you into stone. Minato's eyes faded to blue and Sasuke's eyes changed completely. His Sharingan eye became orange and his Rinnegan eye glowed slightly. Dark blue lines like tears came from his eyes. Thank you, Hokage. Before he could leave, Minato handed him a trikunai. I'll get there as quickly as I can. Sasuke nodded and teleported to Naruto's location. When he appeared, he saw Naruto fighting a white-haired man while Itachi watched with a dark smile on his face. Itachi and I. Itachi just laughed and said, not at the moment, but I can get him a message if you'd like. The white-haired man made a fist at Naruto and Naruto suddenly stopped moving, the air shimmering and flexing as Naruto struggled against it. You're very strong for a human. But you're still holding back. Afraid of hurting the girl. Sasuke noted that Hinata was unconscious at Itachi's feet and Itachi looked at the fight in anticipation. Then Sasuke saw the black around Itachi's Sharingan and understood. You're not Itachi. Right, you are. Your friend will die soon though unless you help him. Itachi's voice was only slightly different. My name is Raisin though. I'd appreciate it if you stopped calling me by your brother's name. Sasuke drew his sword and teleported to the white-haired man, aiming to take his head off, only to miss and be hurled to the ground by an invisible force. Shin, you can't fight at that level for much longer. Even with being a demigod, the gates will kill you. Raisin called out calmly. Shin wiped BLD from his nose. I know, but right now I don't care. This is the best battle I've ever had. Rag. Naruto screamed as he broke the telekinetic hold over him, then making his truth-seeking ball fly out to attack the man. Sasuke hurled a bolt of lightning into Shin's back, burning the shirt and skin beneath it. Shin clasped his hands together, making the ground implode on Naruto and trap him inside a sphere of rock. Sasuke reacted quickly and teleported Naruto out before he could suffocate. I need dash. He stopped when he saw Raisin's face. You're going to let me die? Raisin nodded as Naruto threw a punch that separated Shin's head from his shoulders. Very impressive, Naruto. Now let's see how you handle this. Raisin bent over and pulled a small blue flame-like substance from Hinata's mouth, then hurled it into the golden ring. Naruto stalked forward, ready to kill the man before him. Before you try to kill me, you should know. Your girlfriend will die in a few minutes. Raisin smiled as Naruto stopped in his tracks. His cloak vanished, showing a terrified look on his face. You see, when a human soul is ripped from its body, the body begins to die. The blue energy I threw into that gate wasn't chakra, it was her soul. There she will remain for all eternity, unless you use your truth-seeking orbs to tear open the portal. There is a small hole, the size of a coin that I escaped from, and that I threw her soul through. You open the portal, I'll retrieve her soul. Naruto fell to his knees as he processed the information. No, it can't be. Sasuke watched, weary of Naruto's choice. Then Naruto stood. He glared at Raisin, his cloak coming back full force. I hate you. You're making me choose between the earth and Hinata. I choose Hinata every time. He walked closer to the portal, only to be slapped backwards by an invisible force. Naruto impacted the canyon wall with so much force it collapsed on top of him. Can't let you do that, Naruto. Naruto flared his cloak, sending the rubble away from him in all directions. Move, Sasuke, I don't want to hurt you. Sasuke didn't budge, tears welled in his eyes. Stop it, Naruto. If you open that portal, you'll unleash hell on earth. I don't want to hurt you, but I will. So be it. Naruto and Sasuke collided midair with so much force that clouds parted and the earth split open. You've gotten stronger. Sasuke nodded, then whispered. Shinra-tensei. A blast of gravity hurled Naruto away. Sasuke followed up with a massive blast of fire from his infinity blade. The fire got so hot that sand was melted to glass, but Naruto charged through the flames and tried to deliver a punch to Sasuke. Sasuke teleported just before the hit could land, then summoned his compressed Susanoo and began attacking Naruto relentlessly. They both vanished from normal sight, though you could still feel their fight whenever one landed an attack on the other. Raisin watched with interest. They're actually becoming stronger as the fight continues. Incredible. Sasuke and Naruto took to the skies. Sasuke using his Susanoo wings to fly, Naruto using pure energy. Raisin then sighed and aimed a hand at Sasuke. When he made a fist, Sasuke fell to the earth, clutching his heart. Sorry, Sasuke. I need him to do this. You will not stand in my way. Naruto landed near Raisin, seeing Sasuke go pale and sweat pour from his skin. What are you doing to him? Raisin smiled. Any body I possess acquires my active godlike abilities, the strongest of which just happens to be telekinesis. Shin lacked the control I have with it, but I'm sure you felt how powerful it is. I'm not doing much other than squeezing his organs. Raisin pulled Itachi's blade from its sheath, then began stalking forward. He gripped Sasuke by the throat and lifted him up, then raised the blade. Sasuke in a last-ditch effort called out. Itachi, wake up. You're about to kill me. Your little brother. Raisin brought the blade down at light speed, only to cry out in anger and pain as he stabbed his own leg. Curse you, Itachi. Naruto, the girl doesn't have much longer. What is your decision? Naruto kicked Sasuke away. Sorry, Sasuke. I refuse to be without her. A yellow flash interrupted them. Naruto, what are you doing? Naruto glared. I'm saving Hinata. Her soul is trapped and the portal is too small for anyone to go through, but if I rip open the portal I can get her soul. Minato looked at the ring, spotting the small hole. No, son. I can get her. Raisin's eyes widened as he tried to grab Minato, only for gravity to hold him back. Oh. You be a sturdy. Minato mulled a trikunai from his cloak and broke off the blades on the sides so it'd fit, then hurled the kunai through the portal. I'll be back, son, I promise. He vanished in a flash of yellow. Raisin began chuckling. Your father will die. My brothers will never let him leave alive. Chapter end. Chapter 42. Raisin grunted against the weight. If you think I'll let you win, you're wrong. He flared his telekinetic power, freeing himself and pushing everyone but Naruto and Sasuke back. Sasuke, I want to fight him alone. When my father comes back with Hinata's soul, you're the only one who can put it back in her body before she dies. Naruto was glaring at Raisin, his aura settled tightly around his body. It looked different though. Less baggy, much sleeker. The coat part was shorter and stopped just above the hips. The eyes were golden instead of orange, and it seemed like it were much more controlled. Yeah. You got it, Naruto, but I get to fight the next ancient monster with impossible power levels. Got it? Sasuke asked jokingly. Naruto nodded and began to float. You got it? Raisin also began floating. So you intend to take me alone? I'll admit I'm not even half my normal power when I'm in a vessel like this, but still. No human is on par with me. Do I look human to you? No, today. Today I am the Shinigami. Naruto moved forward with such speed that Sasuke believed he teleported. Raisin caught his fist with his left hand and placed his right on Naruto's chest. Using his momentum against him, he hurled Naruto into the canyon wall. Come on, brat, is that all you've got? Heaven's wrath? A gigantic beam of gold energy shot from the hole Naruto was in, heading straight for Raisin. Raisin put up his right hand and the blast looked like it hit a wall just in front of Raisin, exploding in all directions except Raisin's. Raisin breathed out. That one might have hurt, kid. Luckily I'm the strongest telekinetic to ever live. He didn't see the next part though. The blast had just been a distraction. Naruto came down with an axe kick that sent Raisin into the ground like a meteor, creating a massive crater. Raisin pushed himself to his feet, wiping the small cut on his forehead. I'm impressed. I honestly can't remember anyone other than Kaguya or her sons that could hurt me, even if I'm fighting with a handicap. Naruto and Raisin began an exchange of punches, kicks and blocks that forced the earth to quake and tremor. Naruto created a sword from his truth-seeking ball and forced Raisin on the defensive. So that's the game. I call forth my blade of darkness, the Amaterasu, named after the black flames that burn anything in their path to dust. A black blade with a serrated edge and one-handed grip appeared in his hand. Raisin stepped forward, swinging from left to right. Naruto ducked low, only for Raisin to spin the blade to reverse grip and bring it into a downward stab. Naruto twisted out of the way but took a shallow cut on his left pectoral muscle. Raisin grinned at Naruto. It's different fighting when your opponent is obviously more comfortable with a weapon, isn't it? I've never been much of a brawler, but my sword skills allowed me to kill Kaguya, and they'll allow me to kill you today. Diamen, you talk a lot? Naruto and Raisin began fighting again, this time with Raisin having an obvious advantage. Minato appeared inside a pitch-black room with two men standing together and one sitting with his eyes closed. You must be Raisin's brothers. I won't waste time trying to fight you if I don't have to. Can you tell me where the soul is that was thrown in here just now? Minato sounded polite, but actually he'd marked the ground beneath his feet with his seal, a trick he'd picked up from his wife. One of the men stepped forward. He looked considerably younger than the other two, with bright red hair and skin. He looked like a male version of Kushina. The seals on his body were black but looked similar to Raisin's. We were thinking about eating it, haven't eaten any souls since we got locked in here, you know. Minato chuckled lightly, still on high alert against these guys. You wouldn't happen to be in Uzumaki, would you? I used to be. Raisin found me as a kid and raised me as his brother. When I got hurt really bad, he turned me, even against his real younger brother's wishes. He replied casually, getting an annoyed scoff. Never gonna let me live that down, are you? You're the second demigod he ever turned, while he and I are gods, PRD. Of course I didn't want you around, you weren't really like us. The older one smiled softly. He looked to be in his early 20s with spiky white hair and BLD red eyes. His frame was smaller than the one who was sitting, but Minato could see quiet confidence that only came from warriors in him. His seals were lime green. Could I please have the soul? Minato asked. The younger one chuckled. If you think it's that easy, you're either stupid or insane. Well, I don't think I'm crazy, but considering how I've been with my son till now, I'm inclined to think I might be stupid. Minato chuckled, then crouched low, readying a Rasengan. The younger one smirked. Can I fight him, Ichigo? Please. Yes. Fight to your heart's content, Sky. The older brother stepped back. You human. If you beat my brother, you can have the soul. It's right here. He pulled a small blue glowing ball from his coat pocket. Minato glared. This isn't a game, but I'll play along. Who's the strongest of you? Ichigo smirked. Technically I am, because Raisin is possessing someone, but Raisin is the strongest usually. Sky shot forward, unable to contain his excitement. Minato blocked a kick only to have Sky spin and have another come to the other side of his face. Minato stepped back, trying to get his bearings, but had to deflect inhumanly fast punches. For a human, you got nice reflexes, mister. Sky yelled happily. Minato was struggling to keep up with the young immortal. If he were having this much trouble with the weakest one, then there's no way he could let them have their way. Minato sidestepped an overextended punch and created a Rasengan that he plowed into Sky's gut, sending him rocketing back. I'll use Hiraishin to catch them off guard, he thought, throwing a tri-bladed kunai at Ichigo. Ichigo caught the blade and looked confused. I'm giving you the opportunity to fight one-on-one, and you spit in my F-boom. Minato had teleported to the kunai and planted a devastating kick, while simultaneously grabbing the soul from the demigod's pocket. Minato held the soul close as he began sprinting towards the exit. He tried to teleport to one of his daggers on the outside, but for some reason his Hiraishin wouldn't activate. He needed to be closer to the portal. He got stopped 20 feet from the small portal by a searing pain in his right shoulder blade. A golden chain was holding him in place. Damn it. Shadow Clone Jutsu. A clone appeared next to him and grabbed the souls from Minato, then sprinted towards the portal. A second chain with a spike on the end flew past his right side, only for Minato to grab it, stopping it from destroying his clone. He smiled slightly when he saw the flash of yellow. You little cheat. Ichigo grabbed Minato by the throat and began punching him with the other arm. Chapter 43. Sasuke was barely keeping Hinata alive, strengthening her life force while he waited for Minato. When he saw the flash of yellow, he breathed a sigh of relief, then noticed a difference in Minato. Is he? Minato shook his head. I'm just a clone. Can you do this quickly and help Naruto kill that bastard? I've got enough chakra to last an hour or two, and I need to talk to my son. Sasuke nodded. Yeah. Give me her soul. Sasuke gingerly took Hinata's soul into his hands and pressed it to her chest, then closed his eyes. Bright blue light poured from beneath his fingers. He looked like he was concentrating fully on what he was doing. Naruto sidestepped a forward stab, taking a gash across his ribs, and delivered a powerful punch to Raisin's cheek. The punch sent Raisin sprawling, but before Naruto could follow up, he used telekinesis to right himself. You're pissing me off, brat. Naruto breathed out heavily. At certain points he'd get a lucky shot in like that, but Raisin had superior skills. He couldn't get lucky forever. Raisin compressed a ball of highly compressed telekinetic energy and threw it at Naruto. Naruto blocked it with his palms and then tore it in half. Naruto sent his truth-seeking ball forward, watching closely as Raisin dodged and parried the orbs. Naruto smirked as he forced the orbs to grab the blade and stop Raisin. Impressive. He aimed a small dagger at his own neck. Release my blade or I kill. Your teacher. The man you see as a father figure, the man you look up to most. Naruto's resolve shook. Itachi-sensei. He was interrupted by a flicker of air and a slash across Raisin's chest. BLD sputtered out and Raisin dropped his sword in shock. Sasuke had the infinity sword in his right hand with BLD dripping from the tip. It's high time we killed this parasite, Naruto. Sasuke? Is Hinata dash? Naruto asked. Sasuke nodded. She's fine. Low on chakra, but fine. Naruto nodded, then turned his attention back to Raisin, who held his chest in pain and confusion. It's not healing. You possess the Infinity Blade. One of the few weapons that can kill me. I can be killed by a person blessed with a sage cloak, or one of the weapons Kaguya stole from my wife Hiriko. That does not feel like the sting of Kusanagi, it doesn't burn like the Rakari's bow, and it's definitely not Susanu's katana. So it must be the Infinity Blade. You're considerably faster than your friend here, perhaps I should keep fighting. Force you to kill your brother. Sasuke interrupted. Shut up. Itachi would rather die than be your puppet. Raisin smirked at that. You're probably right about that. He's fought me the entire way, forcing my aim to be off, throwing off my chakra control, and screaming in my mind. He's the most stubborn vessel I've ever had. Such willpower is unheard of in mortals. Sasuke and Naruto both shot forward, intent on ending this fight. Sasuke lunged his sword forward, stabbing Raisin in the chest. Naruto punched Raisin in the cheek with such force that the ground gave way and surged all around as if it were made of water. The dust cloud blinded Naruto and Sasuke. Raisin rocketed back, straight into a canyon wall. The wall crumbled on all sides and Raisin was bleeding heavily. Raisin coughed, eyes halfway closed, his breathing shallow. Heh, I refuse to be killed. Heaven's wrath. Amaterasu. Naruto fired the golden beam of powerful energy. Sasuke covered the golden energy in black flames. The blast carved a mile-long path through the canyon before detonating like a bomb. Naruto fell to his knees, his cloak vanished. Too much. See it, chakra. Sasuke scoffed. 2 Heaven's wrath in less than an hour. Fighting at a level that makes Kage useless. Being tired is understandable. Naruto pushed himself to his feet. Yeah, I'm running on fumes at the moment. Sasuke gripped his shoulder. I gotta take you back. Something happened. Then they teleported to the portal entrance. Minato sighed in relief as he saw them appear. Naruto rushed to Hinata's unconscious form. Hina-chan. He whispered softly. Naruto, I need to talk to you, and this may be my very last chance to do it. Minato kneeled next to Naruto and placed a hand on his shoulder. Naruto looked at Minato. Alright, speak. First, I'm not actually Minato. I'm a shadow clone, so try not to dispel me before I'm done. Minato said. Naruto's eyes widened. If you're a shadow clone, then that means Minato didn't make it out. He created me and gave me the soul. The 2 inside the portal have him. I want to tell you some things I should have told you a long time ago, but I'm unsure of what to say honestly. Naruto cast his eyes downward, feeling depression and sadness at his father's fate. Despite being ignored till recently, it's still his father. Minato rubbed the tears from his cheek with his arm. Strange. I didn't know shadow clones could cry. Naruto, you are my firstborn and my son. I should have never ignored you like I did. Perhaps if I hadn't made so many mistakes, none of this would have happened. I'm sorry for everything, and I know I've never done anything to show it, but I love you, son. You've come along as an exceptional ninja, and if you wanted you could easily become Hokage. Though I feel you'll have to fight Sasuke tooth and nail for the position. He may not show it, but he cares a great deal for the village. Do me a favor. Kick Jiraiya in the ball next time you see him, for ever telling me about those bullshit prophecies. Naruto let tears drop from his cheeks. I can open the portal and get you out, you don't have to die. Minato shook his head. The youngest is Kage level and the older one is almost as strong as Raisin in his real body. If you open the portal, he'll kill all of you. I've already tried teleporting in, it's got protection against Rinnegan techniques. Sasuke spoke softly. Then Naruto hugged Minato's shadow clone. I'm sorry. Don't be, son. Tell your mother I love her, and watch out for your sisters. He vanished in a plume of white smoke. Where'd he go? He still had chakra left. Naruto yelled. Sasuke sighed. You already know the answer. There are 4 ways to dispel a shadow clone. They run out of chakra, you dispel them, they take an impact, or... Naruto-kun. Naruto jumped at the soft voice of Hinata, the person he loved more than anything else. Hinata-chan. You're awake. He picked her up and held her as close as he could. I'm not letting you out of my sight again. She giggled into his shirt as he began to cry. Are you okay, Naruto-kun? He nodded. Why? Just overwhelmed. Hokage-dash. No, my dad had to die to get you out. She hugged him tightly. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun. We'll work this out. We need to get back to the village, let everyone know what happened. Chapter 44. Sasuke looked at Naruto and Hinata. Since your hands aren't free, I'll grab your shoulder. Naruto chuckled at that. Despite Hinata's insistence that she could walk, Naruto carried her in his arms. Hinata just smiled and replied. I'm sorry, Sasuke-kun. He's being overprotective. It's fine. I understand, he's only doing it because he loves you. Sasuke gripped Naruto's shoulder and the three of them teleported to the council room, where a meeting between the civilian and ninja clan heads was being held. Most of the ninja and civilians began to smile, probably thankful everything worked out, but not Shikaku Nara. Where's Minato-sama? Naruto looked away slightly. He didn't make it. Troublesome. I assume it was the threat that took Hinata. He replied. Naruto nodded. It cost my father his life to save us. He died like a true Kage, protecting his people no matter the cost. Shikaku nodded. Damn it. I hate to bring it up this soon, but without a Kage we are vulnerable to attack. We should decide soon. Some of the civilians nodded their heads. I nominate Danzo Shimura. I nominate myself. Sasuke scoffed. Shikaku spoke. I nominate Hatake Kakashi. Seems things are up for a vote. As advisor to the Hokage and head of the Shimura clan, I use my 2 votes on myself. Danzo spoke loudly and clearly. Naruto and Sasuke felt the trickle of a very subtle genjutsu. Everyone wait. Someone is using genjutsu. Sasuke crossed his arms, scanning the room with his Sharingan. Hyuga, do me a favor and use your Byakugan to look at Danzo. I see chakra built up at his eye and right arm. Hayashi nodded, then gasped at what he saw. He has a total of 10 Sharingan, 1 in his eye socket, 9 in his arm. Danzo grit his teeth. Everything I did was for the protection of the Vil dash. Sasuke teleported forward and ripped the bandages off of his face and arms, with such ease that it looked like he took a toy from a child. Sasuke glared down at Danzo. 10 Sharingan. You killed 5 of my clan members for power. Council. Sasuke lifted Danzo with gravity manipulation. I'm taking him and dealing my own punishment. I'll be back. They both vanished an instant later. Shikaku smirked. I guess that makes Kakashi the Hokage. Yeah, Danzo will probably die and Sasuke is too quick-tempered at the moment. Naruto chuckled. Inoichi Yamanaka spoke. Naruto, why didn't you try for the position? Don't want it, not my thing. Naruto scratched at his cheek. I'd like to be around more for my future family. Hinata turned pink in the face. F a family. Hayashi didn't say it, but he was glad his daughter managed to get a shinobi as powerful as Naruto as a potential husband. Their children would bring incredible power and honor to the Hyuga. Sasuke returned a second later. Danzo won't trouble anyone from this dimension anymore. What did you do? Shikaku asked. Sasuke smirked. He isn't dead. I took him somewhere where time doesn't reach. He'll never die, but he will remain in isolation. I took him to the void, the place of nothing. You'd need either my eye or something extremely similar in ability to get to him. I've kept my mouth quiet long enough. I want an execution order placed on Kara Namikaze. A civilian woman stood angrily. Naruto went to punch her. Even weakened from chakra exhaustion, he was still stronger than most jonin. Sasuke caught Naruto's elbow before it made contact, but the wind still knocked the woman off her feet. And one on this monster as well? She pointed at Naruto. Lady Miyuki, why would you ask that of us? Shikaku tried to reason. Sasuke pulled Naruto back further. Stop, she's not worth it. She contains the 9-tailed fox. That should be reason enough, and this creature has inhuman chakra. You all felt his power. No human has that kind of power. Miyuki cried as Fugaku touched her shoulder. I understand, and the Uchiha clan supports this decision. Fugaku surprised everyone just then. Father! Sasuke yelled angrily. Naruto and Kara have done nothing to earn execution. In fact, Naruto and I just saved the world from being overrun by gods from another world. Naruto put a hand on Sasuke's shoulder to reassure his friend that things would work out. A woman stood. The Inuzuka also support this decision, as do the Akimichi. The Yamanaka do not support this. The Nara do not support this troublesome choice. All civilian clan heads support the idea. Hayashi grunted. The Hyuga are appalled by this and will not support it. Fugaku smirked. Seems we've got the majority vote? Tears fell from Hinata's eyes. Naruto squeezed her hand. I warn all of you. I will not go without a fight. The only one in this room who can fight me on par is Sasuke, and I doubt he would help you do this. If you try to kill me or harm Kara, I will declare myself a missing nin, and an enemy of Konoha. Naruto's voice was cold and quiet but loud enough to hear. Hayashi spoke. Hinata, if that happens, what will you do? I will stay with Naruto no matter what. If he dies, I die too. Her voice didn't shake or waver as she activated her Byakugan. Hayashi sighed. I thought so. Naruto, promise me you will protect her. Already planned on it, Gramps? Naruto grinned at the Hyuga leader, who offered a small smile back. Fugaku pointed. Kill them? Nope. A man with incredible physique and a white mask with a skull-like design replied. He dropped the mask to reveal Zabuza Momochi. The other two dropped their masks as well, showing themselves to be Dagura and Haku. They brought us here. If they leave, we leave. Fugaku glared, knowing he couldn't fight them. Very well. From this point on, you're all to be labeled SSS class missing nin with kill on sight orders. Sasuke glared. Very well. Father. Then Naruto, Hinata, Zabuza, Haku, and Dagura vanished. Naruto caught Sasuke as he stumbled. But too many people. They had appeared at Naruto's house. Big brother. Naomi asked confused as she stepped outside. Get Kara and Mom, we've been banished. Well, you and Mom haven't, but I need to get Kara out of here. Naruto called to her. Chapter 45 Naruto had imparted a yellow aura of energy over everyone to increase their speed and they ran from the village. Naruto carried Naomi on his back because she was still weak from being returned to life. Kushina had tears in her eyes as she processed all the information. Sasuke held Kara's hand tightly as they led the group. Hinata ran beside Naruto, intent on staying by his side. Naruto glanced back at his mother. He still couldn't believe he'd gotten her to come and that they were going to her homeland, Whirlpool Village. The plan was simple, start a new village. Well, it sounded simple. Naruto, I think we should go to the Hidden Cloud Village instead of starting a new village. I'm sure the Raikage would love ninjas of our caliber in his ranks, and we also have several seeker No. Naruto interrupted Kara. The Cloud tried to kidnap Mom and Hinata and use them as breeding stock. I refuse to be a part of that. Sasuke spoke up. I think it's best we stick to the current plan. If a Senju and an Uchiha could start a village as powerful as Konoha, then I'm certain we can do it too. Everyone, when we get to the beach I'll need you to stop. I'll have to show you how to get across. Kushina called out as their feet hit sand. I never believed you would call upon the Akatsuki. A man with purple ripple-patterned eyes was speaking to Fugaku, who was wearing the Kage hat. Desperate times, Pain-sama. Will you take this mission? In return, we will give you the 9 tails and support your goals. Fugaku reached his hand out for Pain to shake. Do not try to touch me, mortal. I am a god, I am above you. Though I hear you are quite capable, being the rival of Minato Namikaze, you must know a few tricks. Pain replied, eyeing the Uchiha. Fugaku sighed. I have one request. Spare none of them. Kill them all. Even your son. Very well, Uchiha. What can you tell me of their abilities? Pain asked, looking to gauge the power of the threat. Fugaku closed his eyes. Hinata Hyuga is the weakest of them. A close-range fighter and user of the gentle fist, she is around Chunin in power. Haku Yuki utilizes ice style as part of his bloodline, Senbon needles, and he can use water and wind style respectively. Naomi Namikaze would be upper Chunin if not for her ability with her parents' jutsu. She utilizes Rasengan, Hiration, and her mother's chakra chains. Kushina Namikaze is a MSTR of seals, her chains, and a sword. She's upper Jonin in skill. Kara Namikaze is the container of the 9 tails, able to increase her powers dramatically with the fox's chakra. She can be anywhere from Chunin to upper Jonin. Dagura has 2 bloodlines. One turns his body into a black metal that is very nearly impenetrable, the other is the lava release. He's very dangerous at close range and a proficient user of ninjutsu involving heat, fire, and lava. He's upper Jonin level. Zabuza Momochi is the MSTR of the silent killing technique. He's an upper Jonin and uses a heavy sword and powerful water-style techniques. My son Sasuke has a Rinnegan and a fully matured Sharingan. He possesses the powers of both and even a few other powers, like teleportation. He's beyond Kage level, able to wield all elements, control death, gravity, time and space, see faster than normal, predict movements, call on the black fire of Amaterasu, use the Tsukuyami, and the Susanoo. I don't know what all he's capable of. Naruto will be your problem. He may not have as many abilities as Sasuke, but he has more chakra than the Kyuubi and it doesn't feel human. His chakra can be focused into blasts that obliterate whatever they hit. He uses wind-style jutsu, and he is surrounded by black orbs that will protect him and fight for him. My spy says that they seem to possess other abilities as well but couldn't get closer without getting killed. Pain didn't show it, but he actually felt fear at the description of Sasuke and Naruto's powers. It would take the entire group to kill them. I think it would be best to use guerrilla war tactics. Kill one, then escape, then repeat the process until we can't anymore. Actually, Pain-sama, Toby knows 2 people strong enough to fight them. An almost cheery voice came from behind them. Pain sighed. Toby, what have I told you about listening in on the conversations of others? Minato. Toby scratched the back of his head, then pointed at Fugaku. I do know 2 living people that could kill the entire group though. You guys met Raisin, right? He sure was a hoot. Anyways, his brothers are trapped and only truth-seeking ball and a sage's cloak can free them. Or so everyone thinks. Toby is a cheater, doesn't play by the rules. Explain. Fugaku commanded. Toby flinched then giggled. You're scary, Mr. Uchiha. Foolish child, you will do as I asks. Toby tilted his head. I will. Pain-sama, will I do as he asks? How do you deal with this insolent fool, Pain? Fugaku yelled angrily. Pain sighed. Very carefully. He glared at Toby. He's more powerful than he looks, perhaps the only Akatsuki member who could defy me. Toby, please explain. Okawae. Toby has a Sharingan. A weird one. He pointed to his eye, allowing it to become Mangekyo. I don't have Amaterasu, Tsukuyami, or Susanoo though. I get the ability to warp to any location, but the warping SCKS me up real small before I can vanish. Once I'm real small, I'll teleport through the portal keyhole and warp all of us out. Don't worry, they can't kill me, I can go intangible. He means intangible? Pain interrupted. Fugaku rubbed his forehead. How powerful are they? Pain concentrated. The younger one was SS class and the older one is beyond SSS class, which is the highest standard we use. They could take entire villages full of men as powerful as you. That and they both have their own unique powers as a god and demigod. We know that the younger one can create matter, but we have no idea what the older one is capable of. I'll need time to think on it. Chapter End Chapter 46 At the Valley of the End. The wreckage of Naruto and Raisin's fight was still fresh. The landscape would likely be scarred for decades to come. Rubble shifted and a bloody hand poked out from one of the craters. Itachi Uchiha stood, his shirt covered in BLD and tattered badly. He was covered in burns and torn skin. Itachi cast his tired eyes to the sky, glaring at the moon. I'm alive. His mind flashed back to the final attack. Heaven's wrath. Amaterasu. Raisin cursed and opened his mouth, allowing his soul to blast out. Itachi blinked, his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan allowing him to focus his new telekinesis around his body in a tight cocoon. Then everything went white. Itachi chuckled. Coward. His feet lifted from the ground. Only benefit of having that parasite in my head was getting to study his powers. Itachi could feel the power. It was intense, powerful, and dangerous. His Sharingan roared to life and his lips parted. His body tensed, every muscle flexing in anticipation for his thirst to be quenched. So I was right. I could see your chakra. Sasuke appeared via teleportation. Itachi eyed him wearily, every fiber screaming to run. Foolish little brother. You shouldn't be here. Sasuke stepped forward. Are you okay? Better now, the influence is actually subsiding. Itachi looked at the cut on his chest. Any deeper and you'd have killed me. Sasuke nodded and helped him up. Some stuff happened you probably aren't gonna like. Let's see. Kakashi is Hokage, and the village labeled Naruto, Zabuza, Haku, me, and Kara as missing Nin. Itachi looked at his brother, waiting for a joke, then cursed. Sheet. Alright, start from the beginning. Naruto was on one knee, eyes closed and palms on the ground. His power radiated from within him. He pulled at the power inside him, moving it outward when it happened. Rocks, dirt, grass, leaves, all manner of debris began to float around him as his power over gravity took hold. He grinned. His power had grown since leaving the village. Naruto, I know where we should put our village. His mother told him. Over the past few days they had been hunting down Uzumaki clan members that Kushina knew about and Haku's uncle. They all decided to join them in starting a new village with the second coming of the Sage of Six Paths and the Sage of Orbital Path, since the Sage had decided to live on the moon many years ago. Where? He asked, his aura fading to inside his body again. She smirked. With you and Sasuke having gravity manipulation powers and my Fuinjutsu skills, we could easily have a village hidden in the sky. Isn't that a little derivative of the village hidden in the clouds? Asked a man from beside her. He had short black hair and piercing blue eyes. He was pale but athletically muscular. He had light facial hair and wore black ninja shoes with metal toe guards and metal shin guards. His breaths were black and he wore a dark blue tank top with a black band around his right bicep. She glared at him. No one asked you, Kenshiro? Jinchuriki was a jonin that had fled the Mist Village a few years before Haku had been born. He shrugged. Then he caught sight of his nephew, Haku. Whatever, I'm supposed to teach the runt how to properly use his powers anyway. Catch you later, Namikaze. With that he jogged off to catch up with Haku, who now also had shortened hair. Naruto struggled to meet his mother's gaze. To him, she was just above a stranger. They had talked more in the last hour than in his entire life. She'd apologized, of course, but he couldn't fake the emotion she wanted. She stood and dusted off her breathes. All right, I can see you don't want to talk right now. If you need me, just give me a shout. You look so much like your father. I'm here for you, you know. Naruto's eyes widened and he grit his teeth, the chakra inside him ready to explode outward and attack her. Instead, he crouched and called on his chakra cloak. The power easily rushed through him and empowered him. Then he kicked off the ground and flew at top speed until he found a canyon that was deserted. He landed and his power began to shake wildly with his anger. I'm here for you. What the hell? Where the hell was she when I needed her? He brought his fists down with all his might, shattering the ground beneath his feet and kicking up a massive mushroom cloud of dust. The ground shook and shifted as his punches continued to rain down on the earth until the power actually managed to shift the tectonic plates deeper in the earth. I begged for you to pay attention to me. I begged. Every DMN day. And you too never wanted me. Electricity crackled across the sky, his power causing natural phenomenon in the sky. The clouds darkened and wind kicked up around him, blowing away the dust cloud. He breathed heavily. His powers had grown exponentially and caused several tornadoes around the canyon, thanks to his natural wind affinity, but he didn't care. His power was enough to wave an arm at them to completely snuff them out. Naruto. Sasuke stood across from him, the wind never touching him as he applied gravity release as a type of shield. He was the only one besides Hinata that he trusted explicitly. His aura dropped and he fell to his knees. Why? Why didn't they want me, Sasuke? Dad didn't want me until the end, and Mom only wants me because I remind her of Dad. Why can't anyone love me for me? Sasuke knelt in front of him and put a hand on his shoulder, then slapped the blonde. Naruto. You have people that love you. You're my brother, Itachi's brother. The Thugs clan likes you and they don't like anyone. Hinata left the village to be with you. Your sisters love you, and despite what you may think, your mother loves you. Haku loves you like a brother. Zabuza's grumpy but even loves you. We all followed you, not Kara. Everyone is here because they care about you. Naruto looked at Sasuke seriously. Thank you. Also, Itachi is alive. Sasuke smirked at Naruto's expression. Chapter End. Chapter 47. Elijah stood at the edge of the cliff, the wind whipping through his hair as he gazed out at the horizon. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow over the landscape. He could feel the weight of his past pressing down on him, memories of his father leaving when he was just 10 years old. Why did you have to go? He whispered to the wind, hoping for an answer that would never come. His thoughts were interrupted by the sound of footsteps behind him. He turned to see Jasper approaching, a confident smile on his face. Elijah, Jasper called out, his voice smooth and inviting. I've been looking for you. Elijah narrowed his eyes. What do you want, Jasper? I want to help you, Jasper replied, his expression earnest. You have powers that you don't even know how to use yet. Together, we could be unstoppable. Elijah shook his head. I don't want anything to do with your plans. Merging hell with earth is not the answer. Jasper stepped closer, his tone shifting. You think you can fight this alone? You're a Nephilim, just like me. Embrace your heritage. Elijah clenched his fists, feeling the surge of his abilities within him. I won't let you manipulate me. I know what you really want. Jasper's smile faded, replaced by a look of frustration. You're making a mistake, Elijah. You could be so much more. As the last rays of sunlight disappeared, Elijah turned away from Jasper, determination coursing through him. He would not be swayed. The battle between good and evil was just beginning, and he was ready to fight for what was right. Chapter End. Chapter 48. Chapter End. Chapter 49. Naruto sat up in his bed, a cold sweat over his muscular frame. Naruto? Hinata asked from beside him, still mostly asleep. He looked over at her and put a hand on her belly. She had told him she was pregnant a few days ago, and he'd been having dreams of losing her, though they were ridiculous because no one got into his village without him knowing about it. With the combined power of himself and Sasuke, they managed to suspend a city roughly half the size of Konoha in the sky, near the land of waves, using their natural fog to camouflage the village. Itachi was their Kage, having proven the best for the leadership role at the time. Naruto swung his legs off the bed and stood, looking at himself in the mirror. He'd grown in 5 years. He now stood at 5'11" with incredible physique. His hair was now much shorter, and he'd lost all his baby fat. Now he and Sasuke were easily the most powerful ninjas on the planet, either of them able to take on armies worth of regular jonin. Naruto quickly got dressed as he realized what day it was. Hinata, wake up. It's Daisake's birthday. She jumped up. Oh no? Kara will be so upset if we're late. Yeah, I know, so get moving, woman. He yelled jokingly. He wore a black button-up shirt with red breaths and black boots. His left hand had a small gold ring that gave off a very slight amount of light. Hinata stood from the bed, and Naruto froze. They had only moved in together a year ago, but every time he saw how appealing she was, it was like Kami slapped him for not seeing it sooner. She was gorgeous, no way around it. Her hair was messy from sleep, she had no makeup, and she wore an old t-shirt of his as a nightgown. But he fell in love again every morning. Nah, she whined, you're staring. He blinked and turned away, ears burning. Sorry, think we have time for a shower? He asked, smelling his armpits. Not separately. She wrapped her arms around his chest and kissed his neck gently. Needless to say, they showed up to the party a few minutes late but freshly showered. Sasuke walked over with a toddler in his arms. Sasuke had changed a lot too. He now wore his hair tied in the back and had grown as well. He was slightly taller than Naruto and wore civilian clothes, only for the birthday. The toddler in his arms was now 2 years old with short dark hair and blue eyes. He had 2 whisker marks on both cheeks and was wearing a dark blue onesie. Naruto, Hinata, you made it. I was starting to think you wouldn't show. What kind of example does it set for the second fastest ninja to be late? Second fastest. Last I checked, I can fly faster than you can move. Unless I teleport, instantaneous beats any level of speed, barring time travel. Sasuke replied, then tilted his head towards his modest house. Kara's inside, probably annoying Zabuza and Kenshin again about settling down. She'll probably beg you two to get on the baby train so Daisuke will have someone his own age to play with soon. Kami, she's still on that? Sasuke nodded at Naruto, while Hinata pulled on Naruto's sleeve. Sasuke looked at her funny before his Sharingan activated and he smirked. Guess I can tell her to leave you guys alone about that. Hinata's pyong. What really? Naruto asked, eyes going wide. Unless she's the Jinchuriki to a very small bijou, then yeah, she's Pyarjinanti. Sasuke chuckled, then caught a mean glare from Hinata and backed away. That's not how I wanted him to find out, Uchiha. Thank you for ruining my surprise. She cracked her knuckles and stepped forward. There was a distortion, and Sasuke was gone, having teleported away. Hinata sighed and faced Naruto. I wanted to be the one to tell why. Naruto picked her up in a fierce hug, allowing his aura to cover them both in golden light. I'm gonna be a dad, he whispered excitedly, tears flowing from his eyes. At the Otsutsuki gate, Toby is a good boy, but Toby is also a very tired boy. Toby sat down next to Pain, in front of 3 men now pulled from the gate. About time your lackey figured out how to get us out, Raisin said, in his original fully powered body. His brothers then went to attack Pain, but Toby put a hand on his leg and made Pain and himself intangible, causing their attacks to hit nothing but air. That wasn't very nice. Toby spent a long time trying to be a good boy and get you out, Toby said, tears coming from the hole in his mask. The middle brother cursed, and we had to listen to you talk the entire time. I've never wanted to die so bad. Chapter end. Chapter 50. Naruto tensed, sensing a powerful chakra closing in. He stood, Sasuke, he didn't have to finish. Sasuke activated his Sharingan and started teleporting people out, away from the party, starting with his and Naruto's family. In 4 seconds he had successfully teleported around 30 people. He landed beside Naruto when he was finished and Naruto nodded at seeing him. They're all at the bunker. Sasuke nodded. Bunker actually wasn't the right word. It was a hole carved out of a mountain in grass country. No one but Naruto and Sasuke knew where it was because without them no normal person could get there. Morning fellas, I see you were having a party. A young man was floating above them. He had red hair and looked like a younger male Kushina. Name's Sky Uzumaki. I've been sent to kill you, but I sense your powers. You're stronger than me, together you could beat Iki. But not Raisin. So I just want to play with you. Naruto's aura roared to life at the word Raisin. You're one of his brothers, he talked about. It was a statement. Sasuke put a hand on his infinity blade and glared at the childish monster in front of them. Do you know how powerful these karma seals are? If done at full power they grant the powers of a god, like eating a fruit from the divine tree itself. Though everyone is different, so everyone gets different powers. He closed his eyes, then opened them, revealing Rinnegan eyes. Truth-seeking orbs spawned all around him, surprising Naruto. Sasuke stepped forward. I want him. Naruto went to argue, but Sasuke cut him off. Remember our deal. The next time a god that wants to kill us shows up, I get to fight him. I don't think that's how we worded it, but alright. Naruto replied, his aura never fading just in case. Sasuke kicked off the ground towards Sky, trying to slice him in half, only to be blocked as a couple of the truth-seeking orbs turned into a staff and deflected the blade. A shockwave from their clash busted all the windows in the surrounding buildings. Sky grinned, you're pretty fast, but not very strong, you know. Sasuke cursed, and his sword channeled violet lightning, shattering the truth-seeking orb. You may not know this, but those orbs are weak against nature chakra, which my sword naturally has an infinite supply of. Sky scoffed and held his hand out, on a Jiraiya sword of creation. A sword composed entirely of bright red energy manifested in his right hand, and he leveled the blade at Sasuke. Sasuke began swinging his sword, releasing torrents of different elements that would combine into stronger attacks before slamming into the young Uzumaki. Sky, for his part, was fast, keeping just ahead of the powerful attacks until Sasuke teleported in close. Sasuke tried to take Sky's head off, but the boy threw his shoulders and head back just in time to dodge the blade and spun, bringing his foot around to Sasuke's side and sending him flying through several of the tables and slamming into a building wall. Sky swung his sword in Sasuke's direction. Sasuke dodged the nearly invisible attack that cut his house completely in half. "Kara's gonna be said?" He grunted, then locked his eyes on Sky's arm and flexed his power. Amaterasu. Sky's arm lit up in black flame and was separated at the elbow by the black flames that incinerated his arm. Then Sasuke willed the flames away as Sky fell to his knees, clutching the wound. He was crying, and the marks on his body were glowing. "I have questions about your brothers," Sasuke told him, sword aimed at the boy's head. "Ask." Sky replied, looking up at Sasuke. His Rinnegan was gone, but he looked calm now. "How many of you are there?" Sasuke asked, getting a scoff. "Wrong question. You should be asking how many of us are a danger to your planet. There are many gods, they aren't a clan, but not as many as humans. In total, there are 10 of us that are a danger to your way of living. Kaguya has plans to come to life, but I fear she is too weak to stop you two now. Tonari harbors resentment towards Earth, but without a Tenseigin, he is weak. There are 3 making plans to come grow the divine tree, but I don't know their names. Myself, Ichigo is a powerful god even by our standards as his powers manifested similar to his." He pointed at Naruto. "Raisin is a telekinetic with nearly limitless power in his real body. Dagon is a shapeshifter that can adapt to any threat but has no mind other than destruction, and Malum is the strongest of us. Malum doesn't really care for your world though. 9 other beings stronger than you." Sasuke cursed at the situation. They would need help if this really was as bad as Sky made it out to be. Chapter end.